Hello guys, we are back. This is Rich from the Net, and we have a new guest, Paige Pullman.
I'm here, people.
And we're doing a podcast. We were going to do an OnlyFans podcast, like reviewing OnlyFans. We could.
Someone got blocked.
I'm shadow banned by the... I talked about it on the last podcast, but basically the moral of the story here is...
I put money into an account and
I have $20 in OnlyFans, so... Anyway, this is...
We'll steer the direction.
What's that?
We'll steer the direction away from that. It's fine.
Yeah. This is episode 13, so you have or haven't watched?
I watched one. I was too nervous to watch all of them.
Yeah.
I honestly drank a beer this morning. Went onto your Instagram, clicked on the link, and was like, I gotta see the vibes.
Yeah.
Because I'm too nervous.
Well, don't worry, we got 22 subscribers.
22? Hell yeah. Wait, that reminds me of Midnight Gospel.
What?
Like when he has the one ice cream subscriber, and then he bails and he only has one.
Yeah.
You gotta stay
and then
true.
He has none.
You gotta stay true.
Yeah.
Gotta stay true.
A little bit about you. We went to college together. You're a businesswoman.
I am a businesswoman. Everybody's surprised by that too.
I'm not. You are more businessy than me. Like you from the get.
Low key. Except like
high key.
Well, okay, we had 2 finance classes together too, and I cheated my whole life. I was like, Wait, who was in our finance class? Was it John?
No, it was Sicko.
Yeah, I tried. Actually, remember we would repair. We would compare our tests and stuff, and I was always high.
Yeah.
I was always the highest.
Wait, high as in like weed or high?
No. I was the highest.
Did you smoke before class?
Sometimes. Only not if there was a test.
Yeah,
Is that, are
that's
they
crazy.
goldfish?
Yeah. This is my latest painting here. Guys,
That is a real, actual goldfish.
I just got to paint the dolphin left, but I hung it up.
Sick.
That was my quarantine. This is my quarantine hobby.
Should I get amped and take a warhead?
Yeah.
I feel like blue's
Don't take
the worst.
a lemon. Don't take a lemon.
Lemon? When people tell me not to do something, I want to do it more.
They're so sour. I'll do one with you.
Okay. Sick.
I hate these.
Wait, also the one podcast that you put up, you were eating ice cream.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, cool. These are the vibes.
Yeah.
Sick.
So basically.
Oh, I already popped it in. I didn't even think about it.
Okay.
Hurry up.
Have you done a warhead?
Not since like grade school. Oh my god.
I hate these so much.
Oh my god. I feel like it's gonna be so loud, like my.
No, it's not. This whole thingy. Yeah. So basically, like, what I do, it's kind of like a joke podcast here, but basically, I set a challenge where I read 50 books on money.
Okay, so I did hear you mention that in your last podcast.
And I spend like 5 or 10 minutes just talking about the books I've been reading. And then I try and parlay that into like current events and just things that's happening in the news, things that are happening with me.
What do you want to get out of it?
I kind of just want to tell people that I read 50 books on money.
That's it.
But like each lesson...
But you get perspective out of it?
Each book, like, yeah, basically. So each book I'm like learning, like I take one thing that I learned and I'm going to apply it.
Okay.
After I'm done. So I cleared out I sold all my stocks. I stole like everything, like, and I'm going to do like a clean slate. So like after this study of money, I'm going to compare the differences of how well I was doing then and
you
now.
know what you should read? You should read the Series 7 book.
Really?
From Kaplan. It teaches you all about investments, stock, puts, and everything.
Yeah.
And
so what do you do? What do you?
I'm in insurance actually. So I used to be in finance, which is crazy because I went to school for psychology. I feel like everyone so I started off in psychology.
I love psychology.
But I feel like a lot of people that have like fucked up lives or like they're trying to figure themselves out. They're like, I'm just going to go into psychology because I'd rather help
or
someone else out.
Yeah.
But, like, you have no idea. You haven't figured your own shit out. And you're like, I'm just going to figure everyone else's shit out.
Because I'll figure it out along the way.
I'll figure out along the way because I'm going to be helping out other people.
But it doesn't work.
I fucking hate it.
So how many years did you get in?
I got 1 semester in, and I hated my psych. It was like Psych 150, like the first intro class.
Okay.
And I was like...
That's like Freud and like...
Yeah.
Like, you're attracted to your mother.
And I was just like, it's not for me. And then you had to take like the sociology classes too. And it was like, I remember the one class that we went into, and it was a night class, and he was literally like, is pepperoni pizza really like considered a pizza? And I literally was like, where are we going with this? Like, how are we going to rationalize anything? Like, he was like, technically, it's not. Just ingredients. It's whatever you want it to be. And I'm like, it's pizza. Like, I can understand.
It's like, get real, dude.
Yeah. So I basically was like, I'm steering directions. Like, there's no money in this, like, whatsoever. And then I learned about it too, and it was like, you had to get. This wasn't bad at all.
Yeah, my tongue was probably fucked up from one.
But it was like, what's it called? Basically, like, just a bunch of bullshit. And I looked into it, and it was like, you need to get your doctorate, and you need to go through like all this stuff, and like you're gonna be making $48K a year.
What was your dream as a child?
I wanted to be a fireman because of my dad.
Is he a fireman now?
He's a fireman now, and I thought that was so badass. And then I grew up, and I was like, yeah. And then I grew up and I was like, there's no fucking shot.
Yeah.
But then I'm like super competitive. And so my mom has her associate's degree. And we were always like talking about like college and stuff, like at family parties and everything. And no one went through college, like except my mom got her associates.
Right.
And I was like, I would love to like just be an asshole and get my bachelor's. Like just to be like.
Better than you?
Yeah, like I'm better than you.
Okay.
And my cousin went into college 2 years before me, then took a year off, and I was like, this is my shot. And I wound up taking summer classes every single year just so I could get my bachelor's before him. So I graduated in 3 years.
How old was he?
I'm 24.
So he's a year
older. And he's
older.
28, so he's 4 years older.
You are an asshole.
I was like,
so pissed.
He was so pissed. And then he started coming to me about like a lot of stuff because I didn't want to live at my mom's house. I wanted to live on my own and everything. So I basically was like, I need to pay the bills. Like I need to get jobs. I need to get internships. Like whatever. Right. I worked at the Career Service Center at LaSalle, and like basically they don't know shit, but like. I wanted to network my way into like people liking me so that I could get opportunities. Same thing with Vanguard. So like I was never in finance. I was in marketing and PR. Mm-hmm. And then they hired me like 3 pay grades over what you like start at Vanguard, which is not shit. Like they pay like shit. They pay awful.
I have a Vanguard account.
Do you?
I have I just do Roth IRA.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the best way to do it.
I'm going to be retired in Boca Raton when I'm 59 and a half, baby.
You got to do that, especially
$1 million.
If you want a Roth IRA. I mean, if you get
tax.
That's the thing. Nobody knows about that.
I learned that from the study of money.
You don't learn any of that.
You got to study money.
You have to study money.
Have I'll have my master's degree in money by the time this podcast is done season 1.
With your 50 books?
Season 1, yeah.
Wait, didn't you say that when you're done the 50 books, you want to do another 50?
I want to do another 50, but I don't know what. And that's what I usually ask each guest, like, what they think I should do. I'm thinking about doing, like...
50? That's a lot.
I know. I want to do science, maybe.
Science? What are you doing right now? Finance? Like, all money
It's
books?
like money, psychology, like, kind of, like,
have you read,
not self-help.
Not self-help.
How to win friends.
How to win friends and influence other by.
I read that. That's not on the list, but I read that. Yeah.
That's a good one. I think that's a huge that one, and I'm a huge advocate for the art of not giving a fuck.
Yeah, the subtle art.
Huge advocate on that one.
I think that's on the list.
Tom Roth has a book. It's Strength Finder. Haven't found my strength yet, but read it.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on self-help books?
I feel like you have to have a more open mind to like life before you actually get into them, or you're not gonna like digest it as well as you would.
Yeah.
Like people, I feel like people like are like, oh my god, like I think that your 20s are such a focal point in your life as to where you're gonna really like take off, like career wise, personality wise.
You have to lock in the mindset because your money's not there.
Exactly. So you have to figure out what you really want, and like college really doesn't set you up for shit.
I know.
Like at all. Like I think it's a scam. I think schools, yeah, I think school in general and everything is like a huge scam. But I feel like you need to lock in your mindset before you actually get into books like that, or you're just going to be striving to like figure yourself out, and then like you read it and you're kind of like, oh my god, I'm so insightful now for like a week.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be invested.
You have to imply it.
Yeah. You have to imply it. You have to be ready to make a change. You have to, and like I definitely wasn't ready to, like when the first time I read.
I was a fuck, and like you were getting but you weren't. You were like getting after it, like way before anyone ever realized.
But that's because I had to make money, and I'm competitive.
Yeah.
So like
I just found my competitiveness.
Yeah.
Like probably a year ago.
I don't think I've found my like full potential until probably like the last 6 months.
Right.
Though. Like
What was the turning point?
So I broke up with my boyfriend.
Okay.
In November and went on like a
fuck spree.
A fucking bender. And I like wasn't really thinking about anything, like how anything affected other people, because I think my mindset like was always like chase money, do work, not think about anyone else. Like it was kind of, not in a selfish aspect, like I was definitely like always looking out for other people, but like I'm just someone that rationalizes everything that I do, whereas making like everything seem okay in my head. And like I was doing some fucked up shit, like, and I like fucked over a few people, and then like I actually fucked over like one of my best friends like recently, and like that really got to me. And it was like over something stupid. Should I just spit it out?
Sure.
Okay.
If you want.
I hooked up with someone like that she like had sex with prior and stuff, and like my outlook on it, like I literally woke up the next day and I was like, I'm like very open, I don't lie to people. Like I texted her right away and I was like, hey, like I hooked up with blah blah blah, and like she got pissed. Oh. And I was like, oh fuck, like some of the shit that you're doing, like it does affect other people.
Yeah.
And as smart as I was, like money wise and investing and stuff with like work and everything, like I didn't realize like the path that I was going down, because I was like trying to avoid my whole breakup. And then I literally like I went to a medium actually.
Oh.
And
like
she was spitting some truth.
Like a tarot cards, like.
Yes.
Really?
So, which was a really weird mix-up too.
Where was this at?
Okay, so my
This was the turning point.
This was my turning point.
The medium.
This was my turning point.
Wow.
So.
Interesting.
I had.
I'm skeptical already.
I'm very skeptical. So like I went in like whatever.
That's they were masters at psychology and picking up like subtle hints.
Yeah. So like I was like, I'm gonna say one thing and she's gonna turn it in the aspect of like, she can manipulate this conversation where she can make me feel like she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah.
So I already went in there like very skeptical, but the way it happened was, so my work basically like, it's 4 owners, and it's 3 brothers and a sister. The sister reached out to me because she knew my grandma was like going through chemo and stuff. I was going through a hard time with my family, and like I interned there actually. The place that I'm working at right now, I interned there like sophomore year, and when I left Vanguard, I was applying to another job, and I used them as a reference, and they reached out to me and they were like, we're actually hiring like for a marketing position, and they didn't offer me enough money, and I was just like, no, like I declined it 3 times, and then they reached out again, and I was like, all right, maybe this is like meant to
Where's
be.
the medium?
Like, that's what I'm getting there.
Okay. I'm impatient. I want to hear about this fucking psychic.
So I go in there and stuff, and like they have like a completely different outlook on everything. Like they're basically like, you need your own downtime, like all this stuff. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like it was like a completely different work balance life.
It's not cutthroat. It's more like,
it was more like whatever.
Thrive.
And I was working in Phoenixville, and they basically bought in this lady, and they were like, oh, we do like monthly like meetings with this. I didn't know she was a medium at the time.
Interesting.
I didn't know she was a medium at the time. But I knew that she did like certain type of practices and like meditation. So we would literally once a month as a company meet in our conference room and do a meditation. Like I fell asleep so many times.
Yeah.
And so we did the whole meditation thing, and then it got into the thing where like she was doing one-on-ones with people. So it was like you had the monthly thing, and then she would come another like every 2 weeks, and 3 people could meet with her individually. And I was like, I'm not doing that. Like I'm skeptical, like whatever. So then with everything going on, my owner reached out to me, and she was basically like, hey, I really think you should meet with this medium.
Yeah.
Like you're having a hard time and stuff. So I go there and I'm like, whatever, fuck it. Pouring rain. It was awful drive. It was an hour. It was awful.
Oh, really?
It was awful.
Off campus?
Off campus.
Gotcha.
So I go there, and I'm already pissed off to begin with. And as soon as I walk in, she's like,
what did her place look like?
Oh, my God. Crystals
everywhere.
Is this her house? No, she has like a shop. So there was like crystals everywhere. She's got like tapestries, all this stuff. And I'm like, this is so gaudy. Like, I'm not gonna get anything out of this. I honestly thought she does do like massages and stuff too. So I'm like, I'm going and I'm gonna fucking gun-ho in this rain. I'm in a pissed off mood. I'm just gonna go get a massage.
She's gonna become a lesbian.
I walked in and she's like, your vibes are off. And I'm like, what? She's like, and I was like in a pretty hard time. Like it was like 2 months ago maybe. And I had so much shit going on with my family and stuff, like stuff that I was like putting on my back, and she just went off. Like
just not knowing
anything about me. She was like, the second we sat down,
do you
she
think
was like,
your boss told her?
No, there's no way. Like my boss doesn't know anything about like the specifics of my life. She started bringing up my childhood, and that's when I was like, all right, maybe this woman's like
social media scrubbing
she's
me.
Like, no, because she wouldn't know that either.
You can tell I'm so skeptic. I'm trying to find the holes.
No, I know. Trust me, I was the same way.
Okay.
But like, so I sit there and she's like, so when did your like parents leave each other? And like they're together right now.
I can do that. They're together.
They're together right now.
But you like.
But so I was like, how did she know that like she left? I still have the warhead in my mouth.
Oh really? I chew mine.
I'm
gonna get cavities.
So she like looks at me and she's like, I see the number 6 and I see the number 12. And I was like, there's no way that she just picked those 2 random numbers that correlate. And I was in 6th grade and I was 12 years old when like everything happened. And usually when I tell people that, who I really don't open up that much about like to other people, I always say like, oh, I was in 6th grade. Like I was literally 12 years old, like when like shit hit the fan and I started like being a lot more aware as like a person. And once she said that, I like started crying. I'm also not an emotional person. Like I do not cry. Wow. And like it immediately like triggered something, and I like started like tearing up, and I was just like, holy fuck, like whoa. And so basically what our company does is they pay for an hour for one of the employees to like go and like see someone. We talk for 3 hours. 3 hours. She didn't charge me. She knew literally like specifics about my life. And she was like, when you leave this place, she was like, I can already tell. It sounds so crazy because it's like super spiritual, but like she was like, when you leave this place, she was like, you're going to be a different person. And I'm not kidding you. Ever since I left there, I don't know if it triggered something in me.
Yeah.
But like when I left, I've had a totally different outlook on life.
Oh.
I have been researching so much more about like what we've talked about, like conspiracies and like what the meaning about life
just
is.
Kind of like
Duncan
learning.
Trussell, like,
yeah, just learning.
Everything, like learning. And I was just like, I really like I've become like a lot more intrigued about like that, and like also just like being able to be okay like on myself, like on my own.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when I walked in there, like even though I've been on my own for a long time, and like my parents did split up, and I've been living on like my own for a while and like paying my own bills, like I was always putting my family's burdens like on my back. And like when I walked in there and like she just spit the truth and like knew all about it. Like so like my little cousin too has been on drugs for like a while and she like bought it up. And like knew everything that was going on with it that like no one knows about. And I was just like, this is crazy. Yeah. Like this is fucking fake. Like, do
you think she does Zoom?
Probably.
I would see her.
Probably. Like, I'm not kidding you.
I would see her and report back.
I have a card. Her name is Poonam.
Poonam? Is she Indian?
Poonam, yes.
What's her religion?
I think she's Buddhist, by the way I talked
Buddhist?
to her. Buddhists are smart as fuck.
Buddhism is
the
oldest
crazy.
Religion. And, you know.
I believe in it now. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
I have a lot of different...
I'm not Catholic. Fuck
I'm not Catholic. I don't believe in God. I believe in a higher power.
Right.
So
that's what like, all Catholics say that like went to strict Catholic schools.
Well, yeah, I think it's bullshit.
Because it's forced down your throat.
But that's everything in life. I feel like everything you learn is just forced down your throat, and you're just learned to believe that. Like everything you do in grade school, in high school, everything that you learn, and like the craziest part about it is like, and that's what I've learned in my 20s is like, you aren't taught anything like that's gonna make you like
of substance.
Yes.
Who do you now when you see like our friends becoming grade school teachers now? What are your thoughts on like that? Like they're just taught a rhetoric. They just want to get their paycheck. Like I had a teacher that she would come in, she'd be like, she'd come in like she was like 20s, and this was my grade school. Like she would come in and be like, guys, I have a huge migraine. She was hungover. Guys, I have a huge migraine. We're just gonna watch movies all day. But you didn't put that together, yeah. Yeah, you just thought she had migraines. Yeah. And she's like, we're just gonna watch movies. It was like every Friday. Like she was going out Thursdays.
Literally, and like you don't realize that. And I actually had that conversation with someone like probably like a month ago. And like Courtney. Yeah. Courtney's a teacher. Yeah. Courtney studied politics. I know. Courtney, shout out to Courtney. But, like, she was. Love her to death. Great human. Very intelligent.
High school, right?
She teaches high school.
High school, that's crazy.
At Basil's. Yeah. And like I love her and she's great at her job. And like I do think that you have to have that like organizational skill where like you can set up.
But you know she's not telling people about the politics, taxes and
But like I'm watching her get fucked up on like a Thursday and then go teach high schoolers. And she does the same thing. She'll put videos on. She's like, learn about this. And you're like, where was my educational experience?
I know.
To be honest. Like, I kind of blocked that out. Like, the whole grade school aspect of my life, too. Like, the stuff that I learned and everything, too. Like, it was like, how valid was everything? Like,
I was so...
Did people go in there and just wing shit sometimes? And I'm like, I'm sitting there like, I gotta take a test tomorrow. Like,
yeah. I literally tried not to do my summer reading. I, like, tried not to take tests. Like, I would, my one buddy ate a test during the test. He's like, I didn't get a test.
Wait, the funniest thing, this is probably like 2-3 years ago. I went to one of our like corner like local bars and I saw my 6th grade teacher and I was
Was she drinking?
It was a guy. I was an asshole in grade school. So like my 3 older cousins, I lived with them my whole life. And they like tortured me. Actually, side note, funny story, like even in, it was like 6th grade maybe, and when my parents broke up, their parents split too. My mom and their mom moved into a house together.
It's like sister.
So it was like it was insane. Like they had no control over us. So there was 3 older cousins, my younger brother, and me, and we were still in grade school, and they got left to literally make my lunch for school, and like. My school hated them to begin with. They were fucking assholes. They were always in the principal's office, like whatever. And you go to the lunch table, you're like, oh, like you have a Snickers bar or this? Like, let's trade it. Yeah. Let's trade it. I opened my lunch packet. I had a Miller Lite.
That's funny.
I had a peanut butter sandwich.
That's like traumatizing as a kid.
I stuffed the Miller Lite in my jumper and was like, I'm gonna get expelled. Like, this is a Miller Lite. Like, I have never drank before. This is insane.
What if you started like drinking it normally?
Yeah, like I'm like, you want to trade? So it was that. It was a peanut butter sandwich with M&Ms and pepper on it. And then there was a
Wait, peanut butter, M&Ms, and pepper?
And pepper on a sandwich.
Because they were fucking with you.
And yeah, they were fucking with me. And they're dying. And they had a huge banana.
Are they sitting with you?
No, they didn't go to my grade school. It was me alone trying to fucking maneuver my way out of this. And it was a huge banana. And in Sharpie, they wrote horsecock on it. This is a God honest true story. Like, it was insane growing up with them. So, like, they hated me to begin with.
Pranksters.
Yes. So they hated me to begin with.
They hated that you were living there because...
They did... Oh my God. Okay, so we used to play pranks on each other, like, all the time. Okay. And they were pissed because they were living with us while my mom and dad were together for, like, a little bit. Like, we had a big house, like, in Somerton. And they were living with us for, like, a little bit. And then they hated it because they weren't with their dad. And then their mom, like, broke it to them, like, we're actually splitting up. Like, also Paige's parents are getting a divorce. And we're all going to move in together. And they fucking hated it.
Are you close to them now?
So close to them. My cousin actually lives in my apartment building.
Sweet.
2 floors up. It's fucking awful. But, it's literally insane. But either way, so we move into the house together, and the thing that sucked is, like, I got treated like royalty because I was the only girl. So it was my 2 cousins that lived in 1 bedroom, and then it was my oldest cousin, my little brother, that lived in a bedroom, and then my mom, my aunt shared a bedroom, and then I had my own. So they were pissed off about that to begin with. And literally the first night I walked out my door, like, groggy as fuck, you wake up, like, whatever, and there was 100 tacks.
Oh, yeah.
And I stepped on all of the fucking tacks.
Yeah.
Like,
filled your foot up.
There was, I started going, it was awful.
How old were you?
This was, when we moved in, it was like 8th grade. It was like 7th, 8th grade.
Okay.
And then we lived there for a few years. And, like, so then I had my first week in high school, too. And, like, when you're younger, like, going to the mall was, like, so fucking cool. Like, yeah. Oh, like, that's where I'm going to hang with, like, all my friends. And
I hated that.
I hated it.
But
like,
I did it. I
definitely did it. I totally did it. But I went to Victoria's Secret, and I thought it was so fucking cool because, like, I bought, like, one of those, like, pink bottles, like, all those girls had, like, the little perfumes or whatever. And it was, like, a yellow, like, mist that, like, you could spray on yourself.
What did they put in it?
They dumped the whole thing out, and they pissed in it, and I sprayed it on my brand new uniform the first day of high school.
In the morning.
And I was like, this fucking doesn't smell the way that I thought it smelled like. Like, what is this? And I'm walking out the door, and my cousin is in hysterics. Like,
because he smelled it.
Oh my God. Like, and I was like, I sat through class with piss.
Oh.
All over
high school, freshman
year, first day. Anybody from Ryan, I had piss all over myself the first day.
It was in all girls school or all boys school?
It was boys and girls.
All co-ed.
It was co-ed. It was fucking awful.
Oh, man.
So that happened, too. And, like, oh, my God, it was awful. But, like, I kind of, like, circling back to, like, how people are, like, aware and, like, perceive things.
Right.
I think that all of that stuff, too, has led me to, like, be this aware and, like, see how fucking manipulative and crazy people are. Not just because of piss.
Yeah, well, you're never going to be, like, if you're a young girl and a guy that's a little bit older, a little bit smarter, he's going to beat you in a prank war, obviously.
Well, yeah.
So that's, like...
I don't know. I've got my cousins good.
Yeah.
Like, my one cousin is, like, really hairy, and he's, like, very, like, he's very into himself.
Manscaping.
Yeah, okay. It's like very into himself, like, but like a very hairy, put together man.
Yeah.
And he was older, and I had glasses, and I hated stink bugs. Like, I had a deathly fear against stink bugs, and he would always put stink bugs alive in my glasses case. So, like, whenever I was groggy and, like, wanted to, like, get my glasses, like, a stink bug would jump out. And I was like, I'm getting this motherfucker back. So I put Nair all over
in his bottle,
the inside of what's it called, or was it, I forget what it was. It was Nair, and I like put it all on the inside of his tail. Oh. And when he put his tail around him, like I didn't know if it was actually gonna affect like the hair on him and stuff because it was on the tail. And he started picking hair off his body and literally was like, I'm mortified. Like, I can't get with any girls. Like, I'm losing hair. I have everything. So, like, I did stuff like that, like, too. Or, like, they would, like, fuck with our neighbors and stuff, too. And, like, they would, like, throw, like, water balloons at cars going by. And they were like, you got to be the one, like, standing out. Like, be by the door. Like, all this stuff. Yeah. Like, you got to... And I would literally be like, they're in the backyard. Like, they're right back there. Yeah. Like, I was, like, kind of a...
You were a narc.
No, I was a narc. I sold them out, like, a lot.
Oh.
A lot. They were such
That was
assholes.
my little brother.
They were such assholes, too. And, like, I was such a fat little shit when I was a young girl. Like, I was...
obese?
I wasn't obese. Oh, but, like, I was definitely, like, I couldn't do a push-up. I'll tell you that.
I was fat too, but I was giant. Like I was a giant. Like you know when you line up, I was in the back of it.
What's bullshit about it is that my mom always told me it was puppy fat. She was like, "It's puppy fat. You're gonna lose that." I never lost it. Like I had to work hard for it.
Yeah, you're good.
I had to work hard for it, but
I was always in the back of the line, and me and my brother was in the back of the line too. So like whenever our grades would pass, we'd high five.
Yeah, like see, like little things like that. But like my cousins were always fit, like, and they were always like into hockey and stuff, and like. They always used to tell me, like, you're not allowed to talk to us. You're not allowed in the group unless, like, you can do a push-up right now. And I couldn't do a push-up, so, like...
Traumatizing.
It was traumatizing.
So it makes you, like, more self-aware now.
I think that, but the way, like...
More self-aware.
One, I'm not... Like, I can, like, roll with the punches, one.
Yeah,
like, I super thick skin. Like, I like bullshitting with people and stuff.
Don't you hate people with, like, because my story is kind of similar to yours.
I hate people that can dish it, but they can't take it. That's my biggest pet peeve.
I hate people who don't, like, who have, like, a cushy lifestyle and, like, they just get whatever they want. They, like, don't really know, like, for the most part, how the world, like, is fucked up.
Works, like, yeah.
You can know how the world works and get through it, but if you didn't have, like, the most interesting kind of people to me are, like, people who are, like, have fucked up minds.
Yeah. Like, I'm just, like, a huge believer in, and I'm not saying, like, you have to go through a fucked up life to have, like, this huge awakening and, like, learn about how people think and this, that, and the other, like, but I think that it plays a huge role in your life when you get to a certain point and you're just like, dude, I'm sick of living like this. Like, I think that that's what happened to me. Like, I was kind of just like, I'm sick of putting everybody else's shit on my back. Like, even, like, parents-wise and stuff like that. Like, I'll put it out there. I love my parents. Like, great peoples. But, like, we've gone through some shit. And, like, and I had to put that on my back. And, like, I was always this type of person that, like, and not trying to get too spiritual and stuff, too. But, like, I also believe in, like, signs and stuff. And, like
omens? Like,
no, like, your zodiac sign and, like, the way your personality is. I'm a sign person. I don't know. I'm in the beginning stage. Yeah, but like I think I'm in the beginning stage of like figuring out like what my outlook is in life.
Me too.
So I think that I'm like
you're like trying to find like
so I am very open-minded about a lot of stuff. So when I do see stuff about like my signs and like I follow stuff and I research things and I read a lot about like spirituality and like stuff like that. So like when I research stuff and like it does connect with my sign, I don't only just look at that, so I'm a Pisces.
Yeah.
So I always used to make fun of people like this. See, I used to make fun of people like this all the time and be like, oh, like, our signs aren't compatible.
Yeah.
And, like, whatever, get with whoever you want. But, like, when I think about it and I read up on, like, the whole Pisces thing and stuff, it's, like, spot on as to where my life is right now. And, like, but I also research all of the other ones, too. Because I'm like, am I just triggering this in my mind that it connects because I'm like, oh, they're saying,
it's like positive, Pisces, like, affirmation.
Yeah. So, like, I'm like, I don't know. So, I'm in, like, the beginning stage of, like, going through all of that. So, like, I don't know how
finding what you believe
in depth I'll be about the whole Pisces thing and, like, signs and shit like that. But, like,
it's all based in science. Like,
it's all based on science.
It's all based on the stars, like, everything. Like, astrology is how it comes.
And
like the Greek gods. Like, I want to really, like, study the Greek gods because I think that, like, I watched Percy Jackson's the movie the other day.
I didn't watch it.
Oh, so good.
See, I have to watch that. See, we were talking about this via DMs about like the whole midnight gospel thing, and, like the Joe Rogan podcast and stuff like that. But like, I started like this little journey of my like spiritual awakening, they call it, and everything was just connecting. And then like, not only that, but like, I'm a huge music person. And not just like rap and bullshit like that. Like I get really into music, and if you listen to some of the lyrics and stuff that like people put out there and everything, like some of the stuff correlates with like the way life should work and like all this stuff. And like I started like connecting all the dots, and I was like, if this many people are preaching about this, there's no way that like this just isn't a thing.
I think music is more of an expression because it uses more senses like than just conversing with people. Yeah. I think music is like if you're creating music, you're expressing through a different wavelength rather than just words.
Exactly.
Like, you through eyes, through ears, like
everything.
And that's like when I do the podcast, I put the headphones in. It like kind of zeroes you in.
Yeah.
And like it makes you are like able to like get your thoughts concise and just focus on.
And focus.
Because you hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
And there's no distractions. Your phones are off, and you're just talking. And you're like having a dialogue with yourself or with someone else.
Yes.
You can learn a lot. So.
And that's why like I, especially recently, like I used to be someone that like could not be alone. Like I always had to like, I'd be texting someone like, what are you doing tonight? Like even after work, or like I would work out and every day. I would work out, and then like I'd be like, oh, like even if I'm not drinking
quarantine
or doing
helps
anything.
Me with that.
Yeah. I'm telling you, the pandemic
was
my turnaround.
Did it help
I fucking
you?
hate the pandemic, but like it literally made me like zero in, like, oh my god, everybody doesn't want to hang out with me every fucking day.
Yeah.
And like I'm further away now. I'm in Fishtown. Like they can't. There's not much to do. Like whatever. So like fuck, I'm really stuck here with like me and my thoughts. But like I've started to enjoy a lot more like my car ride to work. Like usually I would listen to podcasts and stuff like going into work and at work and stuff, but like I've been more into music and like actually like digesting lyrics and like feeling.
Who do you like right now?
Oh my god, my playlist is like insane. Like let's see. I've been like more into like an indie vibe, like okay. And let's go through my playlist. So like I was listening to
give me your top favorite.
So I was listening to Dope Lemon.
Dope Lemon. Is that a guy?
So like it's like very like that one. There's not much lyrics, but it's more so like get high to and just like chill out. But so I have a
I just make a playlist.
Songs that bang. But like you wouldn't really like know any of the like love Tame Impala, love Coin.
I've heard of them. Tame Impala. So like kind of like you'd eat mushrooms and listen to this kind of stuff.
So let's get into mushrooms.
I've never done them. That was one of my questions. So we even haven't gotten to my questions yet.
Oh.
So let me tell you how because I've never tripped on anything.
Love this.
Have you tripped?
Plenty of times.
Okay, so let me tell you what I think like it would be like to me. Mm-hmm. So
give me your outlook. Like you just took shrooms.
Yeah, so like this is my trip and this is what I think it's gonna be like. And tell me if I'm like correct kind of. Okay. So my brother
You also research this stuff and know people that have done psychedelics too. I feel like.
Yeah, I
feel like
I know the science behind it.
Yeah, okay.
So and I have one thing after this story, but so my brother had a science fair, and it was like an earthworm science fair. He got earthworms off the internet and like compost. It was like a compost like earth science fair, whatever. Yeah. And it was outside, and they were like eating on the top because you put like banana peels. Okay. And I peed on them to like fuck with his science fair.
Your brother?
Not my brother. On the earthworms. So and then they started like dancing and like wiggling around, like they were loving it, and that's what I feel like tripping is like. Like I feel like
that's so specific.
I feel like if I take mushrooms, I would be that earthworm getting peed on.
So, I mean, like I see your outlook on that. Like I do.
Like tell me that's not like a mushroom. Like
oh.
Like that would be my trip because I would think.
Now you're gonna take shrooms and you're gonna be like,
I'm an earthworm.
Earthworms.
I would be wiggling around on the ground.
The best thing about shrooms is, to me, so like when I first took them, I was scared as fuck. I was literally like, well, I'm gonna be seeing fucking, like, I was like, I've got demons, like, I'm gonna be seeing some shit. I'm gonna be the person that jumps out of a window and like fucking kills himself.
Yeah, the average story.
When I first took shrooms was right after my breakup and stuff, and I was just like, you know what, like, my breakup with my boyfriend of 8 years was very
long,
very mature. We bought a house together, everything.
You bought a house together?
We bought a house together. It was super...
Did you get out of it?
Yeah. We're like on very good terms. Like, it's insane how, like, again, I think that just shows like our maturity and like where we were as like people and stuff. Like, realizing
I burn bridges. I burn them.
See, I'm not like that. I'm huge on that. Again, back to the whole spirituality thing, like forgiveness, like compassion.
See,
if you don't have that, you're not gonna.
I forgive them, but it's them not forgiving me.
Well, then that's.
But
you have to forgive them for not forgiving you.
I do. So that's why the bridge is burnt.
Okay. That's fine. You can lose people in life. Like, you detach from people. Like,
yeah, it's like a cutoff
thing. There's a cutoff point in life, like, where you're like, okay, like, I learned my lesson from you. I'm moving on.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. You have to learn your lesson from people.
Yeah.
Everything in life is
There's always a lesson from someone.
Always a lesson from someone. And I think that that's so big.
I hate negative people, though, that give you lessons. Do you think they give you the most positive lessons? Negative people?
Yeah. I'm for sure.
Really?
Absolutely. Because when you're
I'm
like
one of these claws here.
Your fight or flight like instinct, like you're obviously going
Which one
to
do you
get.
want?
I want that
raspberry. Sweet. I like better.
So I don't know. Like I just really think that negative people have a larger impact on you because you're so invested in it. Because I think that we grew up in the turmoil, so that's... But I also believe that as people, you're constantly trying to please people. So because you're not pleasing that person and they're negatively impacting you, you're investing so much more time into that.
You're trying to, like, give more than they're giving.
So you're, like, constantly, like, your first instinct is to, like, give more into that negative aspect, and you're investing more time in that, and you're going to
make it a positive. But you're never going to make
it a positive. Yeah. But again, once you come to that realization, you take a bigger step into, like, oh.
Are you vengeful of a human? Like, are you?
No. Not anymore. I used to be like, I used to love, like, throwing things into some group chats, starting some drama, like this, that, and the other, like, and everybody still asks me to this day, they're always like, dude, like, what? Like,
you
knew about this and you didn't say anything? And I'm like, I don't talk to my friends about, like, spirituality or anything like that, because they would literally be like...
It goes in one ear, right?
But also, nobody takes me as a serious person.
Same.
So that's the thing. Like, for me to actually, like, come forward and be like, I'm spiritual, this is what, like, I meditate every single night. Do yoga or meditate every single morning. I pay for a fucking app. Like,
that's what I do.
I pay for Calm.
Mine's Wake Up. Because I wake up.
Okay.
It's $100.
Mine's $60. Mine's $60 a month. But, like, nobody would know that. And, like, if I told anybody that, they'd be like, one, they haven't reached their potential yet because they're not into it.
Because they look like you're like a...
But I'm also not going to shove it down anyone's throat, because it's like, you have to figure it out yourself, I feel like. I think that's a huge thing, which goes back to, again, this is so wild, but, like, goes back to the whole aspect of, like, the whole death thing. Like, I don't think that you just die and, like, you're done. Like, I feel like you're constantly trying to figure out a state of, like, wholeness.
Like where your body's going to be?
Yeah.
Like your soul, leaves your body and goes to another.
So, like, did you ever read about, like, the whole... I'm not saying I believe in this. Again, like I said, like, I just started, like, thinking about all this stuff. But
which you will, like, learn, though.
Yeah, like, and again, like, it's all through research. Same with politics and stuff, too. Like, everybody sees stuff on the media, and, like, they're so quick to, like, jump to conclusions and stuff. Like, I think that our biggest problem in our generation and, like, this lifetime is that everyone's lazy. Nobody wants to do
zero attention span.
No attention span.
Headlines.
Clickbait. Exactly. Nobody researches.
Read a fucking book.
Literally, read a motherfucking book. Like, learn something. And like, it's so funny.
Read a book outside.
Yeah. Yes. And it's so funny too because like people who probably are gonna see this podcast are literally gonna be like, "That's not Paige." Like, what the?
Really?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Is this? Oh wow.
You got raw Paige.
Sick.
Raw.
All right. So the tripping thing. Going back to it, I think so. There's big deposits of psilocybin mushrooms, which are the mushrooms that you trip on.
Yeah.
Everywhere in the world. So exactly, I don't know where. Like, there's a lot in Iceland and Canada, I know.
Yeah.
But
it's like huge in what is it? Is it Colorado? They have like they do DMT.
Yeah.
And like, which DMT, by the way, has been proven to like, they've been researching it and they've been actually applying it to like heal addicts, like addictions to like heroin.
They do that with shrooms too.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
See, I wasn't aware
of that. Like microdosing?
Microdosing that and stuff, but like a lot of people do the microdosing and stuff to become like more aware of like how life works, and like they say like that's really good for you to just like kind of like bring yourself back to like reality.
Yeah.
Because you're fed so much bullshit and like it kind of just wipes that, and you're like you see things
they
from
say like
different
cigarettes,
reality.
Like you don't smoke cigarettes anymore.
Yeah, like yes. Well, Joe Rogan was talking about that on his podcast
really?
like recently. Yeah. But so when I did shrooms, the first time I did them, it was after the breakup, and I was like, you know what? Like,
did you have a shaman? Did you have like, how was?
No, I was in a bar.
Oh.
I don't know why. I was just.
Maybe that was better.
I think it was. It was so, like, spur of the moment. One of the girls that was there, two of my roommates were bartending.
So you chewed it up.
Yeah, in the bathroom, and then just like was like, whoa, everything looks weird. So I didn't know how it was going to affect me.
Were you drunk?
I had 2 drinks like prior. My friend was bartending. That's why I was at the bar. And then the one girl that worked there, who I was like friendly with, not even close friends either, because they're like, do it with people like you feel comfortable around, like whatever, right. Like you have to be good with your life. And I was like, you know what? Like I don't even give a fuck. Like I think that after the breakup, I was kind of just like detached my emotions for a little while, which I've been coming back to, but like literally detached my emotions. And I'm like a psycho with that. Like I can easily just be like, if someone burns a bridge and stuff, like I can just shut that off. And I've been like trying to be more present about like what it does long term.
Yeah, it manifests. It's like if you cut someone off and you don't worry about it, don't think about them. It manifests as like life somewhere else in your life.
Yes.
Like,
but people don't realize that.
Yeah.
Like
microaggressions are completely a thing.
So I realized too, like what I was doing in my relationship, what I was doing with some of my best friends. Literally, because I started therapy like in March, maybe.
Zoom therapy.
Zoom therapy.
I like that better.
Great gal. Awesome therapy. Fucking.
Do you lay in your bed and watch and do therapy?
Preach. No, I don't do that.
Do you sit in the kitchen table and do therapy?
No, usually. So it's every Tuesday from 5 to 6, and I've been working late recently, so I'll literally sit in my car and like FaceTime her and like talk about it.
Gotcha. So no one can like interrupt.
Yeah, like because I don't want to like be around people and be like, this is fucking psychopath. But I've realized how much, because once I realized that your past and things that happen, even like breaking up friendships, your family, everything, your childhood, plays into a part of your everyday life and how you handle situations and certain like relationships. Once I started to like finally become aware of that, which I was already an aware person, like I understand how people operate and why they do the things they do, and like I overanalyze everything that happens in every single person, like situations, like whatever. And once I started to get like really deep into that, I realized like, holy shit, like I should probably check myself out, because I'm
flex your brain muscle.
Every time this happens, this is how I react. And I was like, and I feel like that's how I was as a kid. Yeah. So like once I started going to therapy and like I started like bringing up stuff that like I really never talked about, or I thought to like just push aside and stuff, like once I confronted all of that is when I realized life is so much more than this.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of stuff that I haven't come to terms with like I thought I was like the smartest person in the world. Like I would call people out for their bullshit and they'd be like, how did you even fucking know that like I did that? Or like how did you overanalyze that?
You did it yourself.
Yeah, like, and I was like, because I did it myself, and I was like, I grew up with addicts my whole life, people manipulating me constantly, and then I learned how to manipulate, and then like I manipulated my way through life. Like I told you I got that Vanguard job. That was in finance. Like, I didn't fucking know finance. I'm like, what the fuck? But I manipulated the interview because I know what people want to hear. I know how to talk to people. Like, I know how to...
You have, like, the higher pitched voice. Like,
yes. Like, literally. And, like, even when you're
Service.
around people and, too, like, even... This is so psychotic, but, like, even if, like, I want, like, a certain guy to, like, be interested in me or something like that, it's so easy to look at his friend group or something and, like, manipulate my attitude towards that person.
How do you mean?
Like, I think that, like, by...
Because I don't disagree.
Like, by observing other people, too, like, in a social setting. Like, let's say, for example, I had a friend over, like, recently, and this is no shot at my roommate whatsoever. Liz, love you. But,
Shout
like,
out roommate.
So, I know for a fact that my one friend was, like, very aware about life, and she didn't like to talk negatively about, like, other people, and, like, there was a conversation brought up, like, over, like, some girl's Instagram, where my roommate was, like, talking shit on someone else.
Social media is very toxic.
So Continue. Toxic. But, like, she didn't read the room, whereas, like, the other friend that I had over, who I haven't seen in literally 7 years, was basically like, oh, well, I'm gonna back off, like, I'm not gonna talk shit on her because I actually knew her growing up, and, like, I feel bad for her. Like, took an approach as, like, oh, like, I feel bad for this girl because blah, 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 we don't really know about her, but, like, my roommate was like, what, her Instagram's fucking ratchet, and, like, this looks like shit, like, blah, blah, like,
oh, yeah.
And, like,
I've done that.
Like, but, like, she didn't read the room, and it was so easy for me, like, to visualize that specific situation where I could have at least been like, oh my god, like...
Change the subject.
But, like, I could have easily been like, oh, yeah, I saw that Instagram, too, and, like, that was fucked, like, that was so gross, like, whatever. But, like, I read the room and I matched the other girl's vibe so that, like, she didn't feel awkward. Like, I feel like people are hard to do that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if you read somebody's personality and stuff, like, and they're, like, you can almost instantly, like, see their perspective on life because you're so aware.
Yeah.
That you can match it. And I think that's why I got so many jobs that I have in my life, like, all that stuff, because I'm constantly... And, like, it's a bad example to say, like, I'm manipulating guys to, like, match their vibes. Like, no, there's some genuine relationships that I've had where it's, like, whatever. But, like, I just think that...
You're new to the dating game.
Yeah.
You're, I'm where you're at when I was in, like, freshman year of high school.
Yes.
8th grade.
Yes.
So, it's like...
8 years of a relationship.
Think about it.
Shout out Jack. You're a great guy.
Yeah, think about it. You're an 8th grader, and I'm a 24-year-old. That's kind of weird. That sounds like insane. Jeffrey Epstein.
Another topic.
You want to go to my island?
Insane. Another insane topic.
Oh yeah,
but
I did a whole fucking podcast on Jeffrey Epstein.
Did you see? I didn't watch it. I should have watched it.
Yeah.
That's another.
I've been to the island. Did you know that? Yeah, my cousins live in St. Thomas, and he has an island, and we snorkeled around it and, like, walked on the beach.
Do they still live there?
This was before it, so he was still living there. It's they called it Pedophile Island.
Yeah.
We're like, what's that island? And they're like, oh, that's Pedophile Island. Like, why is it that? It's like, some, like, rich guy lives there. Like, it was just rumor. Like, it was was before this 2017.
Like, everything happened.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, so I'm very big. If you haven't seen my social media yet, on the whole sex trafficking thing.
Yeah.
And, like,
my brother cut his knee on Jeffrey Epstein's coral.
Wait. We have to circle back to the mushroom story really quick.
Yes.
Okay, and then we'll get into that because that's another topic. Really
okay.
Quick. But, so I did, this is a complete turn, but I did mushrooms at the bar, and there's so many stages to mushrooms. There's like 6 stages to mushrooms.
Really?
One, I felt like I was...
I'm gonna do them, but just...
Dude, but, like, you just have to do it. Like, you, I know for a fact you would be fine. Like, I know for a fact.
I agree. But not yet. It's got to feel right.
So it's like a 6-hour trip. So give yourself 6 hours. And...
Maybe we'll do a
But
break.
I was in...
Should I on my podcast?
You should.
A 6-hour podcast.
Oh my god. So start to finish. The mushroom story.
I know my boss watches this podcast.
Does he?
Yeah. I have managers, bosses.
Jesus Christ. Here we go.
CEO.
Well, I've done shrooms a few times, Mr. CEO. And every experience has been different. The first experience was kind of like, oh, this is fucking cool. Like, whatever. I stared at myself in a mirror for like an hour. I lost like every aspect of time.
I thought you were going to say, I lost all my clothes.
I was naked in the bar. Just walking around.
That would get you arrested.
And that never happened. I still have a job, thank God. But I did it with that other girl. But she did them 20 minutes prior to me. So she was hitting the stages.
20 minutes off?
And then, so like, she would hit a stage and then be like, oh, that's next. Like, oh, fuck. Like, you're getting way too into this. And then we had to go through, we were going down to Fishtown, but we went through K&A.
Oh.
On shrooms.
It's bad down there. I was just down there.
Oh my God. So when that, I thought, so I didn't know.
Did you feel like you were a person? Like,
oh my God. So I didn't know shrooms last that long. Yeah. One. And I literally
Wait, can you explain what K&A is for people who don't know?
Okay.
Because there's some people that don't.
Kensington and Allegheny, it's literally like
the lettered streets?
It used to be called Tent City, where literally everyone would line up in tents.
On Allegheny. They took away the tents.
It's actually like up and coming.
Trash.
It's up and coming.
No, Allegheny and down by the lettered streets.
Yeah,
is that what you're talking about? You had to go through there to see the people.
It's not. Are you talking about like by LaSalle, the letter streets on Allegheny?
Yeah.
No. So if you go through
basically just like Heroin Alley.
Yes, it's right through. It's called Port Richmond, and then you go through it, and then it's Kensington. And if you go down Kensington and Allegheny, you see Zombieland. Yeah. Like absolute Zombieland. But it was
took away the
at
tents.
Night. They took away the tents. It is up and coming. There's a lot of places. Like
yeah.
But like regardless, there's when you go through there at first, you're kind of like, all right, lock the windows.
It's a shell shock to people who don't know.
Yes, huge shell shock. Like
we have some
needles everywhere. Wild. But we were going down there, and you're under the L.
Yeah.
So the L almost looked like a bridge.
It is.
No, like the Tacony Palmyra. Like that on shrooms. So we're going down it.
Like you thought you were under the Ben Franklin.
I was literally like, we're on water. We're driving car on water under the Ben Franklin. And I was like, oh my God. And when you lose service on your GPS, like, you know how it like just spins?
Yeah, like
or goes
rerouting
crazy?
Or whatever.
We were trying to do that. And there was the girl who was driving was sober.
So it's drunk.
And the other girl that did shrooms with me was in the passenger seat on the GPS. And then I'm behind them. So I'm sitting here like we're on water under a bridge. And I'm looking at her GPS. And because we're under the L, she has no service. So everything's circling. And I'm literally like...
You got to get off the L.
We're in a submarine.
Yeah.
We're
you looking out the window just like...
Every turn I took was like what... my mind wanted me to see.
What if you broke down?
I would have freaked the fuck out. I would have
called the cops. I would have been like...
I'm a trooper. Like, no, please,
oh,
come tell me. Yeah. Take me in. So that was that experience.
Turn myself in.
But then, so I did shrooms one time. And then...
That's a hell of an experience.
One night, pandemic hit.
On your shrooms?
No. So one night the pandemic hit and I was like, I did shrooms already, like whatever. We were a whole bottle of Tito's in, me and my 2 roommates. And we had 2 acid tabs.
Okay.
And we took acid that night.
2 acid
we were
tabs?
already
3 of you took 2 acid tabs?
I took half of a tab.
Okay. So that's a lot.
So I'm like, yeah, like whatever. So
I don't know.
I mean, I didn't know either. I didn't know how long it lasted. I thought it was 6 hours. Acid does not last 6 hours. Give yourself 2 days.
2 days?
Because you have an afterglow. You have like an afterglow the next day.
Yeah,
and
you need like a mood equalizer or something?
What the fuck? Yeah.
Afterglow. It's like you're pregnant.
It's literally, they call it the afterglow.
You're just like really glowing right now.
I'm like, your eyes on your forehead. Who were you again? So that was the most insane experience because have you ever seen online like one of those projectors that like projects like the sky or like lasers and stuff? I had one of those. I lived in the basement and I had a huge white wall that was next to my bed, and I had like it was a nice ass setup.
It's like stars.
I wasn't a loser in the basement. It was.
I lived in a basement for years.
Yeah, it was fucking sick. Okay. So I had the star thing, and like I put it on the wall, and I'm like, when is this gonna hit? Like whatever. And I had a body pillow, and I put it across, and me and my 2 roommates like laid next to each other, and we're like, we have no idea how acid feels. Like we all did it for the first time together, and I went like this. I put my hands out, and I was like, when am I gonna feel something? And I was like joking around, and I went like this, and as soon as I did that, it felt like I was grabbing air or something. And as soon as I did this, it felt weird. And I looked at my roommates and I was like, guys, put your hands in the air. Put them on your chest. I'm like, and just lay there. And at the same time,
like
all 3 of us went like this. And we put our hands down and we just melted into a trip. Like the most insane thing I've ever seen.
Were you playing music or something?
Beatles. All night.
Wow.
Strawberry Fields Forever. Wild thing to trip on. And do
you think the Beatles did acid?
For fucking sure. I looked it all up because after the acid trip, I was like, there's no way they didn't fucking do acid. That was insane. And then when I did shrooms the next time, I literally put the Beatles on, and it looked like I was just staring into like a kaleidoscope, like on my ceiling. Like,
that's nerve-wracking though. Just doing it for your first time.
But I had a moment. So I had shit to do the next day after the acid trip, and at one point I was like, important shit. Like I had to run around and like do stuff, and it was pouring that day.
I would have skipped it all.
I was on 95 in like a literal mid trip, and I was like, oh my god! And all I had on was "Send Me on My Way" by
Send Me on My Way. Roots. Is it that one? Send Me on My Way.
Yes, that's all I played. It was the only song that I was like, this is my happy song. And I like literally was on 95, couldn't see anything, and I'm driving, and I'm like, because so many people tell you too, like you could like crack your neck and like you get into a trip, and I'm like,
that's the thing.
I'm already in an afterglow, and I was like, God forbid, like I randomly like hit into a trip, and like I really needed to like get somewhere, and I was like,
where were you going? What were you doing?
I needed to.
Don't tell me you were like going to fucking Marshalls or something.
No, I needed to buy weed.
Oh my God! Here we go. Jesus Christ.
More drugs. So
you were on the bender.
So yeah, the bender, the after breakup bender. This is the after
breakup drug bender. Usually it's dick. Like you.
No. I was like, everybody leave me alone. I'm getting annihilated. No. So I'm on the way, and I'm literally like, oh my God, and I feel like I see every drop of rain, right?
Yeah.
So I pick up the weed. And I'm like on my way back, and my roommates are like, we're already in like another trip. Like, how are you driving? Oh my God, like, are you almost home? So I finally get home, and then a kid had to come over to pick up what I picked up.
Yeah.
And he walks in, and he's like the coolest guy ever. And he's like looking at me, and he's like, oh, like, he always bullshits like when he comes over too. And I'm like trying to give him something, and he's like looking at me, and I'm like, your eye's on your forehead. Like, your eye
Cyclops
is legitimately on your forehead. And I'm just watching it. Like, did you ever see the scene from, what's the scene with Channing Tatum and
21
Jump Street? Literally, that was
put
the moment.
Back in your mouth.
I'm like, put it back. Put it back in your mouth. And I'm sitting there, and he's like, what did you do? And I'm like, I did acid last night. Like, you need to fucking leave. And that was wild. Like, I don't think I would ever do acid again. Shrooms, one thing. Microdosing, cool. Whatever.
It's like natural from the ground.
But like, that's natural, and like all this stuff. Like, I'm not like a sociopath. Like, I'm gonna fucking get into crazy drugs and just go nuts. Like, I don't think I would ever do acid again. It was kind of more of a like, we're not doing anything. We're stuck in a pandemic. There's literally nothing to do. I'm so comfortable with you guys. Like, let's just do it.
So, do you get anxiety when you smoke weed?
Not anymore.
I used to get it so
bad because I think another thing that I think why I got anxiety from weed and everything was I wasn't comfortable with myself.
Yeah.
Because everyone I would be around, I would like second guess like what I would say or what I looked like, and like I was like, oh, I look like an idiot, or like, oh, I'm not sitting properly,
I have an anxiety
or like
story.
something like whatever. Go.
So me and all my brothers, we were like little pimply fucks.
Yeah.
So we went on this drug called Accutane.
Oh my god, I heard you can like.
And it gives you the worst anxiety in the world. Highlight, baby. It gives you the worst anxiety to the worst. So I was at a party, and this is in college.
Yeah.
And I literally thought everyone in this party hated me. I was like,
no, you get like that. But I think that's an internal thing.
It was a side effect of the Accutane was anxiety. Yeah. So I was like, so I called my brother who just went through it. Like he just finished his like treatment, and he was like, yeah, that happened exactly to me before. Just go into a different room and take some deep breaths. Like like anxieties. So I would get that with weed all the time when I was like, no, in college.
Oh.
So I didn't really smoke. Like, my roommates were huge potheads. Like,
yeah.
I didn't really smoke because I would get that, but I wouldn't tell anyone. So now.
But that makes it so much worse when you don't like talk about it too. Yeah. Like, that's what I've realized.
I thought it was just like I just had problems that I wasn't like, dealing with.
Oh, I'm not like, or like everybody else gets high and they act this way. Like I'm a freak.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was afraid of saying the wrong shit to people.
Yeah.
And so I just started like smoking like in my bedroom here, and it was like completely fine because like I'm so much more comfortable now.
Yeah.
And that was the worst thing with. And then edibles, like I think it was the edibles that.
Edibles are another.
It's a different drug. It's a different drug.
It's a different drug.
It's like,
and like I read a tweet the other day, and it's literally the truest tweet I've ever seen. Like the second you start talking shit on an edible, it's like, yeah, bitch. You thought.
Yeah.
You fucking thought. And then you're like comatose, like on the couch.
Yeah.
My buddy actually makes edibles out of his house. Mm-hmm. So like out of pure distillate. And like.
Yeah, Ian had like fucking like he put.
It's insane.
Ian would put it in his eggs.
I was literally like, this is what it's like to be on everyone's like, oh my god. No offense.
So I'm doing a sober September right now.
Me?
But I'm drinking a beer. It's more of like a don't get drunk, like stay
don't
healthy,
get fucked up.
Eat like right.
But that's how but that's again back to the whole spiritual thing and stuff too. Like they say too, like if you're trying to go through something and figure something out, like obviously like I guess this is common sense when you look at it in retrospect, but like you're supposed to be clear-minded. Like the second you like, even if I drink on Fridays and Saturdays and I'm sober and I'm doing like a workout and yoga and meditating all week, like it's not as effective if like I'm getting plastered on Friday and Saturday. Right. Like
because so much like this, like believe it or not, like alcohol, like it'll affect your nervous system.
Oh yeah,
but not
absolutely.
to like a point where you notice it. That's kind of like the reason behind alcohol. But like, there's so much like connectivity like between your body and your mind. Like I've been learning about it, and just like I've been taking a lot of vitamins lately and like nootropic drugs, which is like basically
like fish oil and stuff.
Yeah, which like increases like your like brain functionality and like your like gut functionality. They're like so connected.
It's all connected. You learn a lot about that with spirituality too. Like even when you meditate too, like you're supposed to.
I'm more sciencey based. That's the thing.
See, like that's what I say, spirituality, but I'm more science based.
Yeah.
Like I'm more so like. My thing is facts. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That I think that's my ultimate
that comes
thing.
from like Catholicism though too, because you're taught at a young age to just trust, just like believe in this and you'll be fine. Believe in this, you'll get to heaven. Yeah. Do this and you'll get to heaven. When you abandon that, now you're like searching for, something that actually makes sense. When you realize this is bullshit.
But that's with everything in life though. Mm-hmm. Like.
But we went to Catholic school our whole lives.
That's the thing. When you're fed that, like,
whole
same
lives.
thing with people going through the whole politics thing and stuff right now, too. Like, you're going through this whole media outbreak of, like, Biden and Trump and this is what's happening, whatever. Like, that's what you're fed. Like, if you're fed that for a certain amount of time and stuff, like, everybody's just feeding into it. Like, nobody takes a step back and looks at actual factual information or does research. Again,
what do you think about cancel culture like this?
I just like, there's just...
this bitch tried to cancel me on this fucking podcast.
Who?
I don't know. Her name was Allie.
Oh,
I should not say.
God, cut that
I'm gonna beep her name out.
Cut that out. I think that's stupid. Like, my thing is like, share your views. Like, it just sucks though too, because it's like, not to get like too political, but like, I just feel like, I'll put it in this aspect so we're not like hurting people, but like, some people have a certain view.
Hurt people, fuck it.
Democrats have a certain view, and liberals and stuff. I'm not saying I'm Democrat or Republican, but like, I just feel as though they can have their views and we can have all these riots and this, that, and the third. And
I was in the riots.
Nobody, like, if you say something, there's no rebuttlement really. It's but like then on the other side, it's like, you're racist, you're this, you're that, you're this, that, and the third. Like, you're a fucking asshole, like, blah, blah. Like, there's no... Where does, like, compassion and compromise, like, come into play? Like, we are... Like, all lives matter. Like, we have to come together as, like, a society and realize that, like, there's so many things that are happening in this world that are gonna, in terms, lead to... Like, this whole pandemic and stuff, like, that's not the start of it. Like, I'm genuinely convinced that once the whole, like, the polls start running, well, the freaking entire election starts happening. Like, I think that our world's going to change completely. And I don't think it's going to be anything that we're used to.
I thought that about when Obama got elected. I was like, wow,
I think it starts with socialism.
This is how I define myself as like my political views. Say fiscally, I'm a conservative, but socially, I'm a liberal. So it's like, if I'm out in public and two guys are like making out, I don't get offended.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit. But if like they're like literally reaching into my pocket, stealing my money, then I'm offended.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not offended because you're gay. I'm offended because you're stealing.
Yeah. No, exactly. And I would consider myself the same exact way.
Yeah. And it's like...
I have a very open mind towards all that.
Yeah. Like, suck whoever's dick you want to suck.
Yeah. Like whatever.
And...
It's your thing. It's your thing.
I've munch a carpet. Who cares? You know?
That's your thing. Do it. But, like... Don't fucking be down my throat about it. If I want to munch a carpet, I want to munch a carpet. Like, fuck off.
Yeah. And so, that's the problem. That's
the problem. And I think that all leads back to, again, society. Like, I just think that your childhood and stuff all plays into a role as to how you grow up and your perception on a lot of things. I think everything is based off of beneficial factors right now instead of perception.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that that's a huge thing. Is like, we've been shoved, like, everything.
But if it benefits you, why not do it?
But that's the thing. Yeah, but until you take a step back and realize, until I grasp a reality on perception, I'm not going to get the best beneficial factor that I want. Like, if you grasp your perception and how you perceive things and how life is and stuff, I think you have a better chance of getting those beneficial factors.
Yeah.
Because it's not about manipulation though, but it's like about how people operate. Like, I think that the problem with a lot of us in this world is everybody lacks awareness.
Because you're so aware.
You're fed. Yeah.
Because we're so aware of everything that's happening because of social media. So, you know, we have 1 million friends on social media. And we know exactly what everyone's up to. We know, like we were going to do the OnlyFans review.
That's so weird. I was just about to say. Remember we were going to start this with OnlyFans?
Yeah, so we were going to do
like perception.
We were going to do an OnlyFans review. And, like, we don't even really know these people. Like,
no.
Like, if there was no social media, they'd be, like, gone since
left.
8th grade or, like, whatever. And
gone
now
since accounting class.
Yeah, now it's, like, since what?
Since accounting class.
Yeah, exactly. So... Now it's like, oh, like, you can know what 3,000 people are doing at one time.
At one time.
You can know.
It's at the grasp of your fingertips.
You know who your friend, out of that 3,000 people, who's doing the best, who's doing the worst, who's the most depressed, who's the best looking, who's the ugliest, like, who has the best dog, who has the best, like, boyfriend. And it's just, like, such, like, a toxic way to, you can't think about that many people. That.
But then that's the thing, too. Like, you start comparing yourself. Like, you never take a step back. You're always trying to one-up something. Looking at those beneficial factors, like what filter can I use?
What is more like what's a better invention? I ask this question every time to everyone. The wheel or the internet? What is a better invention?
Oh.
It's crazy. Because you think of so many positives with the wheel.
Yeah.
And then you think of all the negatives with the internet. So usually you go towards.
But if you take a step back and you look at the internet from a different perspective.
Right.
And you're not chasing after, like, who's doing what and celebrities and this, that, and the third. You can learn so much.
Right.
You can learn right at your fingertips. Like, once I got into, like, this whole
like, I have two phones.
Journey.
Like, I have two phones. This one has social media. This one doesn't. This is my daily phone. Like, this doesn't even have a phone number. This is just for filming.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's like...
just connected to your Wi-Fi, like, if you want to go on something and...
Well, I have it connected to the Wi-Fi, like, when I'm here and stuff, but, like, I don't have Instagram on here, like, I don't, like... You know what I mean?
Yeah. I have to pee so bad.
Me too. I gotta pause it.
Okay.
We're back, guys. We had a little pee break intermission. I drank this whole mason jar. Another thing is, so when I drink, like, on the podcast, I always slurp it. And people get mad at me.
Thing, like...
Yeah, people are like... ASMR. All right, here we go.
Questions, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
We got the tripping one was.
Boom. Did acid. Did shrooms.
Experience. You used to work for the NBA.
I did. That was fucking fun.
Can you elaborate a little bit more?
Dive into that? Yes. So, kind of circling back to my awareness, and when I worked at Career Service Center, there was a woman I was a sophomore, and I was like, there's no fucking shot that I'm even gonna get an internship, let alone a job with the NBA. So I found out this woman who was coming to our campus to basically, like, put out information about it. She wasn't even hiring at the time. And I just stroked her ego, like, all the shit, like, manipulated the entire situation, became, like, really, like, good friends with her, I guess you would say. And, like, my take on it was, like, oh, I would love to get lunch with you and just pick your brain. Mm-hmm. And, like, stuff like that. Went that way. There were 1,000, it was like 1,200, and I forget the exact number, applicants for this internship.
How many did they pick?
3.
Oh.
It was the most detailed fucking interview process I've ever done in my life. So do you remember when I broke my foot in college?
Kind of.
So, side note, someone was getting abducted literally abducted, in our side parking lot by B&G, and she was screaming, and I was throwing trash out during homecoming, and I went to scale a literal 3-foot, 4-foot fence, and got stuck in it, and, like, shattered my foot.
But did you save the girl?
Yeah, the guy, like, literally freaked out and, like, ran.
Because you broke
your foot?
And I
was like, I got you, but call an ambulance. I'm dying.
I do remember that. That was a bad shatter, right?
It was called a Lisfranc fracture, and they literally said
it's like
most common in it's most common in football and soccer players. And I was like, I'm not athletic. I broke it on a fence in a ditch.
You are athletic. You were a cheerleader.
I do play sports. I actually am, like, really, and I'm, like, huge.
Do you play sports now?
So everybody, like, gets, so I
have a pickleball appointment tonight, by the way.
What time?
Don't worry about it.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's open-ended.
No, I am athletic. The only thing I'm really bad at for some reason is basketball. Athletic-wise, as, like, playing, like, in the actual game. Like, I'm just not, I don't know.
So you're nice at basketball.
Yeah, I'm really good at softball.
So that really coincides with
really good at
working.
golf.
Really?
Yeah.
Coordinated.
But anyway, I'm a huge sports person. I've always wanted to work in sports.
So the NBA just was calling you.
It was calling me. And I did the interview, and I had surgery the day of my interview to go in there. So it basically was a survey and a test that you had to take. I did that. It was an online interview. I did that. You had to submit a 5-minute video on YouTube. I will never release that fucking video.
Why?
It is wild. It's really fucking good though.
Is it like on your private YouTube or something?
Yes, it's really fucking good. It was really good, and it's like 5 minutes long, and it took me forever to nail down, but it was solid. And I submitted that, and
I'm more
then
of a one-take guy.
No, dude, like my friends still bust me, like literally still bust me to this day over it. Because I'm like, hi, it's Paige. And then, like, if you go through my MacBook and you click it, it's like, hi, it's Paige. Hi, it's Paige. Hi, it's Paige. It's like different takes, like different angles. Like, yeah. So, I did that. I passed that thing. And then there was 3 separate interviews that it came down to with 6 people sitting around the table with 3 executives from the Sixers. And they basically just were, like, spitballing questions. And then, like, you had to do role plays and all this shit and, like, all this style stuff. And it was a day of my surgery. And I skipped my surgery and hobbled my ass into the Sixers fucking corporate
Did you tell them?
office. Yes. And I was...
Oh, so they had you.
I
broke my foot for this.
And I literally took... So I had the advantage because of the woman that I met. She was like, they mark down how many times you raise your hand or you're the first person to speak. And I was like, fuck it, I'm supposed to get surgery today anyway. Like, I've had no human interaction because I literally can't fucking walk. And I literally sat there and just annihilated the interview. Like, it was, like, absolutely killed it. And, like, I walked away. Like,
were you like, I got the job?
I walked away and I literally was like, I did a great job during that. And at the end...
It's because you had no flight.
I had no fear either. Like, I went in there and I was just like, I fucking hate my life right now. I can't walk. Yeah. I had no fear. I just let that go.
So something with the physical pain.
But again, that shows so much in life too. When you just let go of all that stuff, your actual potential is just insane. They even say, this is a really weird side note, break your foot if you want to really live life to the fullest. No, they said on a podcast that I listened to the other day too, like, what's that actual sport called? Archery? Is that
Archery?
Archery.
Like bow and arrows?
Is that like a sport? But they say people in archery, literally, like the people that are really good at it, have learned to legitimately let go of any tension and anything, and they don't even aim. And, like, that's why they're good.
Wow.
And, like, it made me put things into perspective, like, listening to that, too. I was just, like kind of circling it back to, I literally, in that moment...
All you're thinking about is your foot?
Yeah, like...
Really?
Yeah, like, I told myself that, too. I was like, you know that you're good at talking to people. You know that you're good at, like, doing certain things. Like, don't second guess that and be nervous.
How did you get the surgery after? The day after?
I got the surgery the day after, and the fucking surgeon was pissed. and
I would be like, dude, don't be pissed during my foot surgery.
So after that 6-person interview, the last question that they ask, they go around the room and they ask who you think should get the job, and you have to say why. And they started with me, and I said me.
Yeah.
And I literally was so cocky about it, and I was just like, I think I should, like, blah blah, this, that, and the third, like, XYZ. And every person besides one person, fucking asshole, I'm still of animosity. No, I'm kidding. Every single person besides one person literally said B.
Wait, so there were other interviewers? And
they literally answered the question as, like, I think Paige should get it because blah blah blah. And, like, I think the one person that went after me took it in the aspect of, like, she's being way too cocky and saying herself, like, I'm not saying myself. And then, like, said something. So then they followed suit. And then, like, everybody else followed. Oh. And then, so there was 3 separate...
Big swinging dick on
so there were 3 separate interviews with 6 people, and one person from each interview got picked, and it was me and 2 other guys. Oh. And then I worked there for a while. I met some cool ass people. Like, I met Bryan Cranston. I met Meek Mill. I met Kevin Hart.
Is he from Philly? Bryan Cranston.
I don't think he's from Philly, actually.
Oh, he's just at
yeah, but he was a Sixers fan. He was there for the Sixers. I met Kevin Hart. I met Meek Mill. I met Allen Iverson. I did not meet Will Smith. Kevin Hart was wasted, and he was so fucking funny. That was fucking cool.
I feel like he gets fucked up at like sports.
He was annihilated. Ben Simmons was an asshole.
Really?
So his family. So if you go into the Sixers stadium,
if he passed you on the street, would he know who you are?
No shot. No way. But I took care of him like a couple times, and he's an absolute asshole. But if you like walk into the side of the Wachovia Center, and there's like it's like will call, and then there's like a side door, and if you go through that door and you go downstairs, there's an entire like that's where like we would sit like once we like after work, if there are certain games, like you would stop at 3, go to the games, you would like set up the arena, we would get they would feed us dinner. You sat in like the high suites, not the club boxes, the actual suites. And then you sat there, and then the coolest part about it was we would go down into the basement and stuff. You would see a lot of the players' families. So like a lot of the players' families didn't want to sit out there because like they got harassed or like people would ask about stuff. So they had their own boxes within like right next to like the locker rooms and stuff. So like they had that, and like a lot of the players would visit that like when they could and they weren't doing like team stuff, and like that's where you would see Ben Simmons most. Like Ben Simmons was always in with his family and everything. So like that's where he would be. I never really saw Embiid. Like Embiid was always like to himself and stuff. The two people I saw the most was Ben Simmons and TJ McConnell. And TJ McConnell is an awesome person. He is like very down to earth, always would meet up with our team, like signed all of our stuff, like was just like actually had like genuine conversations and like cared about the front office and wasn't just like, I'm a fucking rich asshole, like Ben Simmons. I
don't think TJ McConnell's nearly as rich.
No. But like also TJ McConnell has his shit together, and I actually know, like I have his wife's number. Like she's from Pittsburgh. Works at a I don't think she does anymore now. She works at a Pittsburgh hospital. Was friends with a lot of people that I knew. We actually got into like a marketing thing together, and like we were talking like back and forth. Like they're very humble and down to earth. Like
really?
They're like normal people. And like I think that they also have that aspect of life where like Ben Simmons was like, I was so young and I started this journey so young and it took off, and like I could get whatever vagina I fucking want, basically. Hello, Kendall Jenner.
Did you see her?
No, I never saw her. I didn't see her. But like I think that he was just like, I'm a fucking big shot. Like that's where his head went.
So the reason I asked you about the NBA was because I actually brought up Ben Simmons is like they were boycotting like for that social justice problem.
When
the guy got shot in the back.
Who didn't show up? Milwaukee? Not what? Milwaukee. What was the first game? The Bucks?
Yeah, the Bucks.
The Bucks didn't show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was like a boycott for a day, and that's when I was filming the podcast, and I thought it was going to go on for a while. I was like, if you're a rich, like, young kid, you drive a Ferrari into work, and you date a Kardashian, what could you have to take your money and put it into like a marketing firm first, rather than quit your job.
I'm
rather than not show up to work.
Okay, so this is my outlook on this. I went on a tangent when this first happened.
Yeah.
I think you literally live the life. Like you have everything you need, basically. Mm-hmm. Like
they put you up,
materialistic wise. Like you literally have everything that you need right there. Including, like, the hottest girls. Everything you want. Like, your head's huge. You're so out of touch with reality with that. And, like, I'm sorry, but, like, my thing is that's your job.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to your job. But you're also not, like, what stance are you making when you're not contributing to, like, let's say, child sex trafficking?
Yeah.
Do something that's relevant in this world. You guys have platforms where nothing is being shared.
Like, literally just start a little LLC with, like, 5 people. And just...
Yes. Well, how hasn't...
And just put money into it. Don't even be there.
How hasn't one person that has that much of a media presence stepped up and said, whole like you
Ashton
can't tell
Kutcher does
but exactly, and he always has though.
Yeah.
Him and his wife, they've always had like he stopped acting and stuff because of all of that.
Yeah.
But my thing is how can me and you sit back and sit on a podcast and talk relevance about the world right now, but not one person can come forward and have that same outlook on life because they're controlled.
Hong Kong money, yeah.
They're controlled.
Hong Kong money completely oppresses all their people.
They're all controlled.
If you have Hong Kong money,
and I'm sorry, but when you have money like that too, like who's like, you're gonna risk it all, like and be that person to risk it all.
Because you have managers, you have like publicists.
Yeah, it's your like so. I had a conversation with a girl who's very, very, very freaking left. And
Is she a friend or just a acquaintance?
A friend. Okay. Well, my acquaintance. No, she's
colleague.
She's super conservative actually. She's super conservative, and she came up to me yesterday, and I came home from work and I was exhausted, and I like really didn't feel like getting into anything to be honest. And I showed up and she's like, "Hey Paige, like how are you?" And something happened like where like Trump got bought up and everything, and she made a really good point too. And oh my god, what was her exact point?
She's super left.
No, she's super conservative.
Okay.
And she basically was like, she was talking about how like everyone's
drinking your cola, by the way.
Budweiser's probably cool by now.
Yeah.
Fuck. What was my fucking point? She said
talking about Trump.
She was talking about Trump and stuff, but she was saying how like everyone's controlled. She also lives across the street from the mayor right now.
He's under some fire.
So not only that, but she was like, he has kids, he has a
Mayor
wife.
of Philly.
Yes. Mayor of Philadelphia lives across the street from her. She sees everything that they do, and she's like huge, like has a Trump flag on her fucking lawn. Mm-hmm. And she was like, I was scared to do it at first, but like those are my views. And she said, she was like, I almost want to record it. He literally has security for the wife, for the daughters. They go out shopping at the mall all the time. They come back with bags from Nordstrom, like all this shit. And it's like, but you preach about the mask, you do all this stuff. How are you getting security? That's obviously our taxes, this, that, and the third. And it's like, you preach all this stuff and nothing's broadcasted. But she was like, if I were to step up, and this is where my point was, if I were to step up and say, you know what, I'm gonna record that because like what, like the whole like Maryland issue with Maryland. So like she was like, I'm gonna record him and be like, why can you do this with all these tax dollars and you can have security for every single person in your family? I haven't been to a
restaurant since COVID.
Neither have I. I've been outside dining. But like you can do all of that, but you're also going to the mall and like doing things that like you're literally standing in front of the entire city and doing all this. And she was like, but if I did that and I recorded it, he would have my life. Like he could easily be like, I'm gonna fine you for your trash that's not out, and I'm gonna fine you for that. I'm gonna do that. I'll make your life a miserable fucking hell. And that's what sucks about society is like, once you get to that specific status quo, you're controlled. Yeah. You're absolutely controlled.
So my bosses.
That's why no one steps out. That's exactly going back to the NBA. No one steps out because it's like you could easily lose all of that within seconds.
The way to do it is I have two things. Escape the rat race, have multiple sources of income. Mm-hmm. So if something goes wrong in one source, you're not going to get canceled and fucked over completely. You'll just lose the source.
I think that in general, like you need to be investing your money.
Yeah. So
your money should always be growing.
Exactly. So another thing, my boss's father-in-law is a big-time real estate developer, like huge, like was developing the Naval Yard, and he got a huge business deal gone wrong with the city, Ed Rendell. And everyone knows that like Ed Rendell was like notorious for having prostitutes. Yeah. And so he sent someone over or like got a tip that like there's a video of like hookers coming in and out of his apartment. And he had my boss's father-in-law like thrown in jail for 1.5 years on like tax bullshit because he can.
Because you can. That's once you reach that status quo and you can do that. You're
like he can tell the receptionist at the tax office to lose the paperwork or like
easily.
You know, like it's just like when your boss tells you to do something.
Everything nowadays is so swept under the rug. It's scary.
It's either brought to light or swept under the rug.
And the things that are brought to life are the narrative that everybody wants you to believe.
Yeah. I almost like want to like I don't know. I just want to escape the rat race so bad, and that's kind of why I'm doing like the money, like studying money thing, and like 100% after I'm done this, like I'm gonna start my own like business and like do my like kind of like my tax stuff, like have my own house, like you know, like basically just invest. And
well, that's the best way to do it too, because
do it all under an LLC, like make like fund it like a rich person would.
But that's
you know what
why.
I mean?
That's why. I didn't want to get political, but like, look at what Trump did. Like coming in, like he.
Oh yeah.
He did so much for the economy and jobs.
And that's why he doesn't show his taxes.
Yes, but like look what he did with all of that. Like he's being smart about that entire route because it's like that's what you need to.
I read his book.
Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't read it yet.
It's really good.
Really? Okay.
It's
Do you
before.
have it?
Yeah. Okay. It's before.
The sun.
Sorry. I don't know how to block it. It'll go away. Your face is just like not in it. Hey, wait, let me see.
Boom.
No,
so but I
basically like here's my thought on that, like why Trump doesn't show his taxes, because there's a thing in real estate called a 1091 exchange.
Yeah.
And it basically defers your taxes to the next property. Mm-hmm. So he's done that a million times. So if he shows that, then the Democrats would be like, "Oh, give us that fucking money on each transaction." Which is no, he just found the loophole in the system.
But I'm sorry, but like, that's just smart business.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just like knowing your legislation. And that's what you got to do.
Who wouldn't do that though?
Yeah.
Like, is my thing, and like.
And a small loan of $1 million was their like smear campaign, is not a lot in real estate. Like this place costs $90,000.
Yeah.
So if you had 10 of these places, there's your $1 million.
I'm about to get real controversial because I'm gonna start sharing my views.
Yes.
But.
Yes.
But like, for me too is like, one, the media is awful. They create their own narrative.
Fear-mongering.
Create their own narrative. With Trump and everything that he's done and stuff like that, like, how can you not take a step back and realize, like we said, that we're being controlled by an entire colony of people? Like, the elites are in control. They like in 2016 Deep State got fucked. They did not think they were gonna lose that election. They did not think that they were gonna lose that election. They got fucked. Somehow Trump got into office.
On trial right now.
But there's no media coverage.
Yeah.
There's no media coverage.
Because of BLM.
What? No, because the deep state is controlling us.
The Rothschilds.
Yes. No, it's so. If you just take a step back and research and look at fucking facts, you will realize, holy fucking shit. One, like, we get so uptight about everything as human beings. And, like, we're so controlled. But we're so controlled by our own emotions that we can't take a step back and rationalize shit. Mm-hmm. And because we're controlled by emotion and we watch the media is controlled by emotion. You see all the bad shit. You don't see anything that's good that's happening in the media.
Yeah.
Like, you're so controlled by that. Like,
I love good shit. I love it when you see it in the media. That's fun.
You're like, no, but like, I'm sorry, but
I cry when the troops come out.
Same. But like, how do you look at 39, that might be statistically wrong, children that were, I thought that just went off, that were found in Georgia in a fucking truck, and no one posted it.
I'll tell you why.
Media-wise. Because we're controlled by the deep government.
The deep state.
We're controlled by the deep state.
I'll tell you why.
No.
Because Ghislaine is found.
And she's giving out information, and by the truckload, children are being found.
Yeah.
And the sun's coming back.
I know. It's annoying. Just bring it closer.
Tell you the truth.
So basically, Hillary is on trial, and no one knows about it because
the media is not fucking covering it.
I read a book called The Creatures of Jekyll Island, which is basically the guys who created the Federal Reserve. Yeah. And the Federal Reserve just basically manipulates our interest rates. And the people who realize that there's a currency in like the media, and there's an easy transaction to be heard from the media is the Rothschilds, like a deep family. Rothschilds own. They basically started.
Boom! We just solved. World issues.
Yeah, well, Jekyll Island's like J.P. Morgan and all the
the
head
whole,
honchos,
like the Wayfair shit
Merrill
and
Lynch.
like all that stuff too. Like that was crazy.
Yeah, $10,000 cabinets.
That's Rebecca.
named fucking LaQuisha.
That's Rebecca.
It was always like black girls. It was like Shanae's.
No, I just want my cabinet, not Shanae.
What?
I just want my cabinet, not Shanae.
Yeah, but like
not to be. Who knows who will see
So
this.
yeah, I was
Not to be disrespectful.
I was on the island. Me and my brothers went snorkeling around it.
Is that
sick island?
Is that where your great awakening happened? Cause
no. I didn't even put two and two together.
You're like, this thing is sick.
When I got like real invested into the deep state, I was like, holy fuck, I've been here.
Are we going Duncan Trussell, Joe Rogan on this bitch?
Yeah, I mean.
No, I'm in. Keep going, because I also have another topic I want to talk about. Wait, you have a list of questions too.
Yeah.
Okay, sick.
Well.
But I agree with you. I like where your head's at.
I got deep into it. I learned about like the corruption of the Federal Reserve, how they just rich people just. So there was 10 people.
Which makes sense. Everybody do your research.
10 people who held 25% of the wealth in the U.S. 10 people. So 25% of
like Bezos and fucking.
It would be like
Bezos, fucking.
It'd be like Elon, everyone coming together.
Elon,
I'm an Elon fan.
I'm an Elon fan.
Everyone is.
Okay, side note. Insurance, you heard it in the beginning. I write insurance. I wrote his insurance policy for that cool ass fucking thing that he's doing, that underground tunnel.
The Boring Company?
Yeah.
I have an Elon hat. I'll give you one. I have an extra. Let's see, questions.
I actually didn't go through.
What?
My deal.
Are you allowed to say?
Yeah.
I
also had Kylie Jenner's her personal information, her cell phone number, her
okay,
address,
be careful.
I had to write her insurance stuff. I couldn't because it was all high-end.
Was she gonna move to Philly?
It was all high-end vehicles, and she was dating Travis Scott at the time, and
Kylie Jenner. I was thinking
Kylie Jenner, and Tyga was on the fucking policy.
Really?
Tyga's name and information. And I was like, you date Travis Scott.
Is writing insurance just a lot of vernacular that you have?
Yeah.
Is it just like writing paragraphs all day?
If I have to like specify something to like my carrier, because like I'm an MGA, so I'm a small company, and like I write the insurance, and if it goes without our guidelines and stuff, like I write paragraphs and shit to like the carrier itself, like, hey, this is why I want to write this, like whatever. Boring. But yeah, I just review applications like all day. MPRs,
right.
Police reports.
Okay, so I have a official name for 2020.
What is it?
2020 gate. Just like, how much bullshit is there? There's so much bullshit, and people.
I feel like I haven't looked at the camera the whole time. It was literally like this.
Yeah, me too.
Also, my side view is not cute.
Look at my I look like I just.
So apologies.
I look like Crystalia.
Everyone. Crystalia's fucking. What? No, is he?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, he got canceled. He was. Do you know what happened?
No, I didn't.
He's hilarious. He was my favorite comedian.
Did you ever see the dirt bike special?
Yeah, of course. I went to him. Me and my brother saw him in person.
Fuck! Everybody cool's getting canceled. Nah, he's not.
My favorite stand-up was Louis C.K. Then he got like.
Did you ever see Sam
jerking
Morril?
off in front? Yeah.
Sam Morril.
Yeah,
I got this. Great special.
Is it the YouTube one?
Relevant.
The one on YouTube?
YouTube one?
Yeah.
About like consent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Crystalia, we basically
fuck, you do look like Crystalia. like
I got my Crystalia hair. I gotta grow it longer. So
canceled.
He was grooming little girls. Like 14-year-olds. Like he was like texting them and shit. And then like 20 girls came out like on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
There's like
canceled. Not funny anymore. Fuck your dirt bike special. I loved it. But fuck it.
He was hilarious. He was like such a talent.
Fuck.
And then like his podcast was hilarious. He was texting girls.
That's so fucking weird. How the fuck do you get into that?
Power and fame.
It's so fucking weird. It's so
if you were
fucking
rich,
weird.
powerful.
If I was rich, I'm like, those 14-year-olds look fucking fire.
You're a girl though. That's different. So, I mean,
slit is a slit. That's disgusting.
So, if you were rich and famous, how would you act? If you were rich,
it depends where I came from and where my mindset was before that.
All right, I'm gonna choose your city that you lived at, that you live in, that you got famous in. So you moved to New York City.
Okay, like now.
Now.
In my head.
You have 1 million on Instagram.
In my state of mind that I'm in right now.
Yes.
Okay.
You moved to New York. You have a dope penthouse.
Mm-hmm.
10 million in the bank, and then you're making like dividend incomes on your stocks, $100K a month. And then every month you're making $100K.
I'll be completely honest. I would probably go.
But wait, you're famous for
my OnlyFans.
You're famous. You're famous for like. You're like a famous foodie, but you're a controversial foodie. Like you're like on the Food Network, but like you're a fuckboy Food Network. You know what I mean? It's like you ever see Action Bronson? Fuck, that's delicious. It's like that. Like you're just like fucking around, getting high and shit, and like eating food.
Is literally a dream.
Traveling.
If I was doing that, I don't think that I would be controversial or like have like. I think I'd be fine. If I was in the state of mind where I'm at,
you're doing interviews. You're like fucking with
and
the people.
I'm aware. No, I just think that like I really don't give a fuck what I say to people anymore.
Yeah.
I think that's where I'm at in my life. Like I really don't give a fuck what I say.
I don't think anyone can
like,
rattle me. Is it hard to get rattled by you?
No, like it used to be for sure. Like I used to care about what everyone thought.
Right.
My friends, like if I canceled plans or something, I would find myself like lying about stuff. Like, oh, like fuck, I made 2 plans with 2 different people. I have to lie about this, and I was like, why the fuck do I care about that? And like, in reality, like I shouldn't. Like if they care, like if I need my own, even if my excuse is like I mentally just cannot be there right now, like I need my own space, like whatever, that should be a fucking valid excuse.
Yeah.
And like I've gotten to that point though. Where It's never been. But I've gotten to that point where like I'm so out there as a human being, like to begin with. So like when people do come up to me and say stuff like that, I'm literally just like nowadays, like I'm like I can't, like I just want to lay, like I just want to be myself, like for now, like whatever. And like I don't give a fuck what I say to people anymore. And like I used to really be with that, like about that with like guys and stuff too. Like my validation was literally through guys like hitting me up or doing something like that. Like that's fucking deep, but like that was
get closer.
that was where my validation was, like, for a lot of things. And
it makes you feel important.
It makes
people
me, like,
want
yeah, like, it's like, people want my time, but it's like, but they're not valuing it in the aspect that, like, it should be valued. And I finally got to the point where I was like, because I think that I grew up my whole life pleasing people. So what?
Would you say it's daddy issues?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's probably an easier way to say.
It's daddy issues. But like,
I have daddy issues and mommy issues.
I have both, too.
Yeah.
And I think that because I didn't get the attention from my parents, like, growing up, that, like, I seek it in other people. Like, not even guys, like, friendships, everything. Like, it's like, I always want to, like, if I'm not liked or somebody doesn't like me, I get butthurt about it. Used to. I don't care now. But I find myself, again, like I told you, like, I just started coming to this realization.
I feel like you're going to cast a spell on me right now.
I feel like...
I just watched Harry Potter last night.
What's the word?
Avada Kedavra.
It's abracadabra.
Oh, fuck.
What?
No, it's Avada Kedavra. I don't know.
Whatever.
Expelliarmus.
Yes, that's what I wanted to say.
I just started getting into them.
Harry Potter?
I used to look like Harry Potter.
Oh, now you look like Kristen.
Wait, I gotta show you what...
No, wait. So I was always finding validation in, like, guys and, like, friendships and stuff. And I was just like, I think big thing about your life as you get older is you need to set boundaries. And I wasn't setting boundaries. Mm-hmm. And, like, I was constantly trying to, like, please other people.
In your formative stage, your dad is supposed to set them for you. Like,
yeah.
How you're treated.
And I think, again, that's why I was like, oh, I go to therapy and stuff now. And it's like, you start to realize that shit and you're like, holy fuck. So much from my childhood correlates with what I fucking do now, that, like, nobody tells you that. Like, you have to figure it out on your own. Like, it's all about perception and awareness, life, in general. It's like, and it's so fucking funny to, like, say it in that aspect, because it's like, life is so simple. Like, the simplicity of life is, like, wild when you actually take a look, like, a step back. I mean, I bite my tongue on that. It's, I think
but
that if you
don't agree with me because
after I said that, I, like, there's a lot of things that you have to overcome, and, like, it's a lot of fucking work that you have to go through to actually get to that state.
Do you think a lot of it stems from money issues?
Not necessarily.
Money and lack of energy in something?
No, not necessarily, because I feel like if you were, let's say you were born into a rich family, you had all the wealth, you had everything you wanted at your fingertips, but you didn't have a stable family.
You just had, like, a trust fund?
Yeah, you just had a trust fund.
Parents that didn't care. Nannies?
Yeah. Where would your outlook be? It would not be where me and you are right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be.
You'd be like in the club snorting coke.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, that's
Have you been in the club snorting coke?
You have to go through your trial and tribulation. So...
I hate clubs. I hate going to clubs.
Well, you can't do anything right now, but...
Would you go to a club right now, if you could?
Probably.
Full packed club, no masks? Just cause?
Yeah, for sure.
Just cause you miss it?
For sure.
But, like, say there was no pandemic, would you be, like, happy to go there?
To be honest, I'm telling you, the pandemic... Jesus. The pandemic made me, like, realize a lot of fucking shit. I'm telling you right now. I started painting. Yeah, you have
hobbies.
Like,
sort of podcast.
But, like, my thing is too, though, is like, if I didn't go through the whole pandemic and stuff, I would have went through that breakup, went through that spiral of a fucking bender. I'd probably be on acid right now in front of you. Oh. No, I wouldn't do that. But I think that I would have.
It's great timing.
I would have been chasing my validation and not, but I would have an open door to it. I would have such an open door to it.
You'd be like at the fucking bar by yourself, like searching.
Buy me a drink. Do you think I'm pretty?
Buy me a drink. We can go home after.
We're going home. Fuck you.
I used to work at a bar, so I don't like.
But that's my thing. Like, I think I would have such an open door to so many opportunities where I wouldn't have to be stuck in my own head doing certain things sometimes. Where, like, in like working from home, like I'm back in the office and stuff now, but like working from home and stuff, like you get this like sense of realization, like holy fuck, like the world's not exactly what you think it's gonna be. Like nobody thinks about global warming, politics, like especially our generation. I feel like so many people are lazy; they don't fucking read up on
global warming
like,
is definitely a thing.
Global warming is a fucking thing.
Let me tell you how. Let me tell you how I know it's a thing. I used to have a snow plowing business.
I remember that.
And how do you remember it?
You told me about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And I made so much money.
We each other in college.
I made so much money.
And then you were doing something with like Range Rovers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I made $20,000 in like a couple years as a high schooler. And like bought a snowplow, like had kids working for me.
That's so insane because you didn't tell anyone this when you actually did it.
What?
This is so low key when you actually did it.
I put a fucking sports car with it, wrapped it around a pole.
What?
I had a Mustang coming into college. I had a brand new Mustang, and I was gonna be like,
I feel like it's
time for another word. Wrapped it around a pole. But I was like, all right, fine. I'm back at square one. I still have all my equipment. Like I can just redo it next season. Never snowed that season. Made zero money. I'm like, all right, fine.
Put things into perspective.
I'm like, all right, fine. Next season, it snowed once. All right, fine. Next season, I'm in college. I made $1,000 next season. It was like, where's the snow? The snow's gone. Global warming is a thing.
Last year it didn't snow at all.
I know.
I had a Mustang. We were.
I love the Mustang.
Junior.
When I make it big, I'm souping up old school Mustang.
I'm bringing it back to the 04 Mustang from my college year.
You're gonna get an 04 Mustang?
Mm-hmm. That's what I have. Do you remember?
Really?
That? You not remember my Mustang? My red.
Was it? No, I don't.
Red 04 Mustang. Yeah, I drove it all through college.
Shout
out to my LaSalle people. 04.
What?
Yeah, I spun
Was
it
it
out
convertible?
Multiple times.
Oh yeah, they're easy to spin out.
Because it has no rear-wheel drive.
Yeah.
It would be 75 degrees out and it'd be raining. Like,
yeah, it was fun, right?
It was fun. Well, Nicole Driscoll was behind me one time, and she saw me spin into a circle on the boulevard, and she was like, that was insane. Like, that was...
I used to do donuts in the parking lots, because I loved
one time,
in the rain.
One time I did an Adderall before class, and I went down that street, the one like...
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
You can't drive up that.
You can't drive up it. I went down it, and I went into the woods. I was so focused, and it was raining, and I took a 40 milligram Vyvanse, and I think it was...
I saw it too.
Probably. And I literally was like... And Lex Golden was like, oh my god, we almost just died. And I was like, that's okay, I'm focused.
Yeah.
Get out of here. I got out of there. R.I.P. the Mustang.
I used to get onto the on-ramp of 309 after school.
Oh, I hated 309.
After school, and it was like drizzly out, and I would like purposely fishtail because it was so fun.
Well, like, especially if I would drive down the shore and then you have to go through the Easy Pass, but then you obviously have to accelerate. And I would accelerate and I'd be like...
Yeah.
I would literally like fly through people and people would be like, oh my god. I was like, I'm absolutely
So you're a Mustang. I had a...
Mustang,
the best... Was yours a convertible?
Mm-mm.
Mine was a convertible, and...
I used to tell people it was stick, so people would be like, Tip's fucking cool. You don't see me just putting it in fucking drive.
I used to...
I would put my hand on it and be like...
Put it in first gear and second gear.
Yeah,
put it in sport mode. I'm shifting.
04 Mustang. Just had driver.
Yeah, it was literally automatic.
It was automatic.
Yeah.
Everybody believe me though.
So global warming is the thing. Global warming is the thing.
So are Mustangs.
Mustangs are definitely a thing. 2020 gate.
Oh, we talked about that.
Oh. What is the best meal that you cook?
Ooh.
What is your go-to if you want to impress someone? You're on a hot date. You're cooking a meal. Say, all right, I'm gonna cook tonight.
Probably either like a crusted chicken with baked potato and asparagus, or salmon, baked potato, and asparagus.
How do you cook your just normal baked potato?
So $4.25.
Just spice up the.
$4.25 an hour. You put it in the oven. No tinfoil. Tinfoil kills it. No tinfoil.
Really?
You do not put it in tinfoil. If you don't put it in tinfoil, nothing happens. It just gets crispier, and like the inside's like baked very well, and then the outside's like literally perfect. $4.25 per an hour. Note that.
There we go. I'm making a cookbook.
What?
I'm making a cookbook.
How do you cook your asparagus?
I don't really cook asparagus, but I would bake it probably. Or you can steam it.
How do you cook your chicken?
What kind? Chicken.
Italian chicken. You're doing nothing.
Just like on the pan then.
See?
Or
you need to be a.
I've been doing wings. So every week I do a different. Style of wing.
Really? Do you have an air fryer?
No, I need to get one. I have a dehydrator.
You need to invest into an air fryer.
I make chicken jerky.
You gotta do an air fryer. Air fryer is unbelievable. Salmon in an air fryer is unmatched.
People have been saying that air fryer is the move.
Unmatched. I have the Ninja, the expensive one. It's a steamer, air fryer, and.
Does it do rice?
No.
Fuck.
It doesn't. But
I've been on a huge health kick lately. Huge health kick.
But I'm telling you. Well, the thing that's awesome with an air fryer though is you put the rice on the fucking stovetop, then you throw your asparagus or veggies, whatever, into your oven, and then you bake whatever your protein is.
In the air fryer.
In the air fryer, and then you just walk away. Just walk away.
And then you come back and you're just.
And you're eating.
In 20 minutes.
In 20 minutes. Air fryers move.
I feel like you're a very healthy person. Like you do, you work out a lot.
I have been off my routine so bad.
Why? Because you're back in the office?
Because I think because of the pandemic. The pandemic's like.
See, I'm they closed down the gym. Probably gained 15, 20 pounds.
I didn't gain any weight, but I lost a lot of muscle.
Oh.
Like I lost a lot of muscle, and when I drink, like if I drink for like consecutive days, like my face gets a lot fuller. Like I notice everything like so much more now.
Really?
Yeah. Like
interesting.
My face is pretty full right now compared to what it usually is.
Are you drinking a lot lately?
I haven't been. That's a lie. Yeah, probably. I would say yeah. But
do you think that affects your mood?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Depression. And the craziest part about it is, and I actually was thinking about this on the way over, is because I was like, am I gonna bring that up? I was like, yeah, whatever. I don't care what I bring up. If I go like, I'll go a solid 4 days of just like by myself, meditating, doing my like morning routine, working out, going for a walk by myself, going for a run, going to the gym. And mentally, I'm just like so much more clear. I also am huge on writing stuff down. Like, nobody knows this. Literally no one. I have like
22 people are gonna know now.
22 people fucking know. I type like little entry like on my computer every single night. And if I don't do that, or if I drink that night, I won't do it.
Yeah.
I've like realized how much that's affected me, and I think the biggest problem with myself that I have right now is that I'm so aware of what I need to do to fix things, but I'll stray away from it so easily.
Self-sabotage.
Yeah. I'm huge on self-sabotage. But everything's a journey. You have to keep waking up.
Are you trying to justify self-sabotage?
You have to keep waking up.
Everything's a journey. I'm self-sabotaging.
I'm going crazy. No, maybe I am doing that. I'm gonna be better tomorrow.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Self-sabotage.
Real, but I'm huge on reeling myself back. Mm-hmm. Like I will reel myself back when like
I have a terrible time reeling myself back. Like start a bunch of things.
I justify myself on a lot. Like, I'll preach. I'm like, you need to do this and you need to do that and this is what life's about. And then I'm like, let's get fucking wrecked.
Yeah.
No, that.
It's because you got the ism.
I got the ism.
So do I. And that's like.
Like when you were doing Sober September.
It's basically no. I've had 2 of them. Relax. Am I a hypocrite for drinking?
No.
Sober September.
Ism.
Yeah. But I haven't gotten drunk in all of September. The last time I got completely wasted was probably like a month ago. I think I can count on 2 hands how much I've gotten drunk in 2020.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that's huge. You've
and you know me. You knew me in college.
My levels here, you're definitely like.
What?
You like remember how we were talking about like a spiritual awakening?
Yeah, like, but nah. But it's not. You can't like race people. Like you can't like.
Everybody. No.
You can't compete against anyone.
You can't compare. But I'm saying like, I definitely have a lot that I need to work on, but I'm aware that I need to work on it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
But you knew me in college. Like my sophomore year, like, I was going through some shit. I had a fucking duffel bag of liquor underneath my bed.
Oh yeah.
Like I was drinking on a Friday night. Like I would bring to Treetops. I would bring to Treetops a water bottle of liquor and just drink it during dinner.
Yeah, see, I mean like that, but I again.
And I
think that has so much to deal with. Where, at least from what I picked up from you, where we came from, like, childhood-wise. And, like, you finally get to a state where it's like, dude, life is fun. I really don't have to fucking worry about a thing right now. Mm-hmm. And then you get into, like, that deep state of mind, and you're just like, fuck it. Like, this feels good in the meantime. Like, whatever. And, like, you don't have to think about all of that fucking shit. But the more you push all that stuff away... Like, that's a topic I was going to bring up, too. Like, the whole mental health thing. Like, it's so easy to push things away and try and forget about it. Because people are like, oh, I'm going to get through that. I'm going to get over it. Like, whatever. I'm going to get, like, I'll be a better person. Like, I don't want to be like my parents. I don't want to be like whoever, like, hurt them in the past. But it's like, if you don't confront that, you're more, like, susceptible to falling towards it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
So, when I turned 21, I got completely plastered, blackout drunk. And then that whole summer, my birthday's in May, middle of May, I didn't drink. So that whole summer.
I remember you told me this.
And it was the best thing.
When we went for coffee.
Yeah. It was the best thing that I've ever done in my life because.
Was that when you went to Arizona?
No, that was the summer after. No. And, because I got plastered. I remember getting plastered in Arizona. You sent me a
Did I tell you the story of me throwing You didn't talk to me for like 4 years and send me a postcard like, it's Rich from Arizona.
I sent like 5 postcards to people.
I
forgot about these things. You do?
I do still have that. Maybe I'll be a guest again.
Yeah. So my favorite thing is like doing like interesting shit like that. Like my favorite thing is like doing outside the box shit. Like
so
creating memories for yourself.
Another thing no one knows about, and God, if my roommate is listening to this, she's gonna be like, "Fuck you."
What happened?
Depending on how the world goes, my big plan in the next year is to find a job and move to like Arizona or Colorado by myself.
Oh, fuck yeah, do it. Arizona, Phoenix, do it.
Either that or Denver, Colorado.
What would you do there?
There's a lot of job opportunities in both cities.
You should not figure out a job.
But that's I think I'm going towards that.
You should figure out the job here and do it.
I think I want, like, I would even be.
Do real estate.
I was gonna say I think
do real estate here. I literally was gonna
say I think I want to do real estate.
Yeah.
Because I was talking to a coworker that like left my job like recently.
We should start like a network.
Dude, yes.
Network. Website /network/ online board.
Big.
Like a community.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
Help everyone.
Yeah. We should do it. We could totally do it.
Let's go.
You heard it here first. When we take off.
So do real estate here and then move to Arizona.
That's what I want.
Manage it in Arizona.
Yeah.
It's
and
easy.
like my thing is too is like I just want there's nothing like I want to see other people's we should tally this. This should be a drinking game. How many times has Paige said perspective?
I'm gonna name it perspective podcast.
But I want to see other people's perspective. Like I don't like I'm so sick of like the black hole of the Northeast.
You would love Sedona. You would love Sedona, the Red Rocks.
That's what I want.
Did you ever see Cars?
Like the Disney animated movie?
Yeah. That's Sedona. Like that's where it takes place. So
Route 66,
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like the Red Rocks, and then
that's what I want.
In that town, that is like a mantra. Like they call it the aura.
Yeah.
And their aura is like self-realization, like relaxation, like help yourself before you help someone else. Like you have to go there. Like it is.
But that's why I've been looking into it. Like I've looked into it for a while. I actually looked into
hiking,
it. I looked into
camping.
it while I was dating my ex.
Moving to Arizona.
And like we were talking about moving in and everything, and I was like, I just had so much happen to my like in my life where like I really would be fine with like just leaving.
My cousin.
But like you still like my thing is like even if you move like gain experience, do it for 2 years, you can come back. Like your family's always gonna be there. Like if something happens, like there's so much to see in this life. Like I'm like so if there's one thing I beat myself up about the most is like my ex is great. He's awesome. Love him to death. But it's just the fact that I didn't take the opportunity to travel within those years, like and learn about other people and like culture and stuff like that, and just like get a different outlook on like so much other stuff. And like I know I wanted to do that when I was with him, and he wasn't about it, and like I just conformed to what he wanted to do. And it was like that's not me as a person. Like I'm so and like everybody like so many people too, like they'll be like, oh, like you've been different, like this, that, and the third. Like people will be like, why did you get this tattoo? Like
when did you get the tattoo? It looks like the world.
It's a moon. So this is
Does
a
it
moon.
not look like the world?
No, it does. Everybody says that too. And like a lot of people say like
and it looks flowers.
Yeah, a lot of people say there's like
Dude,
flowers or
that's
something in
sick.
it. So but like that's another thing. I like
so interpretive.
So at first I was like kind of butthurt because I was like, dude, it's a fucking moon. Like no one knows it's a fucking moon.
Where'd you get
it? It's my friend Chris Remlini is great, fucking amazing tattoo artist, and so many people were like, what is it? And at first I was like, oh my god, like nobody knows what it is.
Did you get it during
it's
quarantine?
A moon. No, I got it a week ago.
Oh shit.
Or 2 weeks ago now, and
it's healed up.
So when I was younger, like
show the audience.
When I was young, I can't get it. Oh, it's in there somewhere. Sweet. Hello. Wait, it looks better this way.
I thought it was the world.
Yeah, but like a lot of people have said like,
because it look
is it a world?
So this looks like America.
Yeah, so a lot of people have said that, and or they'll say, is that flowers and that, and like at first, like the first week, I was like, dude, it's a fucking moon. Like this means so much to me. Like all this stuff, but again, took a step back, and I literally was like, so many people are interpreting so many different things from it, and I was like, I kind of love that, and I was like, I really like that. Like, cause that was kind of the whole reason I got it was so when I was younger, I like would literally like run away like a fucking 4-year-old, and I would go down to the Delaware River and I would stare at the moon, and like to me the moon was.
I would do that down the shore.
The moon was so big and I was so little, and I was like, your problems are so minimal, like just relax. Yeah. Like so like I literally would do it every single time. And up until literally this year, like I kept doing it. Like, and I always like would think about it. I was like, I always want like a moon tattoo or something like that. And I just could never like pinpoint exactly what I wanted. And like I went like a few weeks ago, like probably a month ago, and did the same thing. I still do it today. Like I'll drive to a river by myself and literally just like look at the moon or like just relax or like try and like, and I just try and pull myself back to my like own reality and just like I'm a huge overthinker. I have a lot of anxiety and stuff like that. It like just kind of brings me back to like reality, and I'm like, there's only that like there's so many people in the world. The moon is so big. So many. Like the moon controls so much. Like and like you're sitting here and you're upset about this. Like
I think of it smaller than that. Like how lucky. Like when people are like, your life is like you kind of had a shitty like upbringing. Like you grew up with some turmoil. Like your life was fucked. Blah blah blah. I'm like look how like alive I am. Like look how like not fucked up my brain is. Like look how hard it was for me to be born. Like like my dad had a nut into my mom to like and that's that jizz of this travel up to the egg.
You know the egg actually picks
what how does that work? I
just read this.
But the egg
picks the sperm.
How?
So fuck your sperm.
How?
I don't know. I didn't read the actual specifics behind it.
You're clickbait.
I clickbait it.
Oh my god.
Practice what you preach.
You're like
practice what you preach.
You're like, you know what? Actually,
we'll read about it.
Actually.
But what else was I gonna bring up in regards to that? I agree with you. Like so many people, and like my biggest thing is I hate talking about that stuff because it's like
moving?
No.
Moving
sperm. No. I hate talking about
how
my
insignificant
upbringing.
we are.
No, my upbringing and everything too, because so many people are so quick to be like, "Oh my god, like how are you the way you are right now?" Like how
I stopped searching for that reaction.
You blah blah blah. Like and like I never was searching for that reaction because I feel like I was always kind of ashamed.
I have it many times.
I feel like I was on the more ashamed aspect. Like I was kind of like I want to be more normal.
I definitely feel bad for me.
I definitely did chase like some reactions at some like in my close knit group of friends.
Yeah, like feel bad for me. Like you don't got that.
Yeah, like you like what the fuck? Like I can't believe you have this and like whatever. Or I need something and but I have finally come to the realization that like everything in life happens for a reason, and like I'm so proud about like where I am as a person and like where my mind is, and I contribute it all towards what I've gone through. I don't think I'd be half the person I was if I...
We should start a company to escape the rat race.
I really want to start something... I've been thinking about this.
Passive income company.
I really wanted to start like a non-profit, but then I'm like, where's the money? Like, I don't know.
You gotta start a profit first and then take your proceeds.
I know, but that's where like the income would come from. Like, I wanted to go to like... I wanted to be.
You gotta get fucking hurt. So my best friend's dad, sold mortgages right before the crisis, and he made a decent amount.
Pee again.
Same. Let me finish this way.
Okay.
No, go pee. I want some beer too. Do you want to get a beer?
Yeah.
So we're escaping the rat race, and basically, cheers. Cheers! Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
They're still kind of warm. It's like you're at a Phillies game.
It's like life. It's not the best, but it's not the worst.
Yeah. So, yeah, basically, my buddy's dad, my best friend, his dad, super influential. Basically, my dad. Like.
Yeah.
He was...
you told me about him.
Yeah. He made his money.
Mm-hmm.
Made a fuck ton of money. I don't know how much, but I know it's a lot.
It's up there.
And then started Cristo Rey, that school that was behind LaSalle on Broad Street.
Yeah.
Started, and basically it was 4 days a week you go to school, and then the next 2 days you... like the kids would go like work at a blue white collar like type of office and basically just kind of learn like what they would like, how office works. Like,
yeah,
they were filing papers and like not doing really much.
Yeah, but still, like you
they like definitely like he goes to the graduations like he got a bunch of them in college like he like a bunch of kids like one kid like works for Merrill Lynch like
what
like he like
took off
like he like he 100% 110% and he was retired before this, so he came out of retirement to become the principal and then
can you show that on camera?
It looks like semen.
Okay.
Semen. So it's like kind of like if you want to start a nonprofit, I think the
semen. So if you want to start a nonprofit,
you kind of have to make your money first.
No, I know for sure. But my biggest thing.
You can't make any money doing it.
Yeah, you want that, but like I think that my goal in life, I'm coming out with so many firsts on this podcast of like actually speaking it into existence. My biggest goal in life is to write a book. Mm-hmm. That's my biggest goal. Like I have like everybody always asks,
I always try to do it.
What's your hobby? Like what do you want to do? Like
you write down.
And I'm like, I want to fucking write a book. Like I want to fucking write a book. And I want the book to I already know exactly how I want. Yes, but like more so I want it to be for like young teens and like based around mental health. Because I don't think that we shed enough light on that like in our world right now, and that so many people are like I was always outspoken. But I have really, really bad anxiety issues. And like there's so many things that I overthink and stuff, but no one would think that because everybody contributes to me as like, oh, the loud funny girl, like she parties and like stuff like that. And it's like, no, like I actually have like yes, like big time.
Exploit that depth.
But like until I came to that realization and I started talking about it more, like my anxiety was so bad to the point where I was hospitalized multiple times actually. Like I would get to the point where I would be on the floor, T-Rexed, couldn't see anything. I would throw up. Like, yeah, you can't move your muscles. Like my dad would have to literally
panic attack.
Yeah, I would have a panic attack.
Okay.
So my panic attacks would consist of me blacking out and like literally like T-Rexing and like, or I've had panic attacks where I've been in the car. Like my most recent panic attack, which I haven't had in a while, was probably like a year ago, and I was in my car and I literally threw up on myself. And like I'm a grown adult, like I can't, but like I couldn't control it. And it was just like I finally reached that point where it was like I let go of everything that I learned and like I went into like that panic state. But until I started talking about actively having panic attacks and having anxiety, I was having it every single day. Like I would wake up and throw up every single morning. I threw up every single morning. People in high school made up a rumor that I was actually pregnant because I would literally
Girls are ruthless.
I would not be, and that was when I was at an all-girls school.
More semen.
And cheers to the semen.
I thought it was a co-ed.
I went to co-ed for 2 years, and then I went to all-girls for 2 years. And my junior year is when it like hit really bad. And in the morning I would throw up, and then like it got to the point where like I would literally like, you know when you take a bad shot and your mouth just gets like real watery and you're just like, don't talk to me until I can like shove this down. That was my anxiety.
That was the feeling every time? Every time.
So like I would sit in first period and I would get that shot feeling in my mouth. And I'd be sitting there and I'm like, dude, like nothing's fucking wrong. Like you're in fucking geometry class. Like, whoa, like relax. But my mind was so go. And like my mind is definitely like always moving. And I feel like that's one thing that I've been trying to like grasp onto lately because my biggest issue is living in the present. I'm constantly like, I'm trying to be like practice mindfulness and stuff like that. But like my mind is just like, I definitely think like I have this lick of like ADHD where my mind's just.
Do you have any lofty goals? I definitely have ADHD.
Nah, I definitely.
I have so much. I
have so many thoughts. I'm like constantly thinking.
I've legitimately died, and the other day I didn't even think of to do this my whole life. The other day I looked up my learning disabilities, so I have 3. dyslexia, which I couldn't read till I was like 5th grade.
Yeah.
And auditory processing disorder. So like someone would say something, I'd hear something else. And then ADD. So it was like a 3 combination of that, like growing up. And then I didn't think to look up like the positives.
Yeah.
There's like actual like
that's with everything though.
There's like so many, like you can define the problem and you know how to like beat it and stuff, but there's actually like
positives to it.
You're more of a creative thinker, like you like yada yada yada, like there's so many good things like with all these disabilities that you have
that you don't,
but I didn't do it till I was 24 years old.
But that's the thing, like that's why I was saying, so going off of what you just said too, like I've been diagnosed with, this is crazy, damn, I'm just throwing my shit out there today.
Go ahead, I love it.
I've been diagnosed with bipolar depression, anxiety, and ADHD, and that's like a lethal combination. And like my head's constantly going.
Are you allowed to smoke weed before that?
I don't know, probably. I do.
Doctor wise?
Probably. I've been doing it. Are you
self-medicating?
Yeah.
Self-medicating with booze and fucking marijuana.
It works. But I don't get like I don't have like, when I got diagnosed with bipolar depression and stuff too, like I don't get like you as an outsider wouldn't look at me and be like, you're fucking nuts. Like, but like I internalize.
I've definitely been depressed.
I internalize everything, and like I'm such an aware person. Like I know what's going on, and like I openly talked to my doctor about it. And he was like, you're smart about everything that you do, but you have actual like issues.
Yeah.
What up? I got issues.
Don't we all?
But what's it called? What were you saying after the point that you made? After you said that you had ADD and stuff.
There's so many benefits. Like there's so many like if you literally look up on the internet like what are the top 10 benefits to having dyslexia?
Yeah.
It's like there's so many. Like there's just like it's like holy shit,
you have
this is exactly how I am.
Like see like that, remember,
like I think outside the box and good at teamwork.
Remember when I said like earlier too, I was like, it's so hard to say like, oh, I'm so into astrology because I looked at this and I was like, oh, I'm like this, I'm exactly like a Pisces. But like when you take a look at that too, it's like, no, honestly, people are probably gonna, if actually people watch this who know me, watch this podcast, they're literally gonna be like, what the fuck?
Are they gonna be shocked?
Fuck. Yeah. They're literally gonna be
was
like,
that your, I don't even think that was my intent to like see.
No, I don't. I mean, I think that again, like I've become someone that I'm like, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I don't care anymore.
And so, hopefully that encourages them to be like that too.
Yeah, that's my thing. That's why I was like, this is cool. Like, let's do it. Because I knew you had a certain outlook on life that kind of correlated with mine.
Right.
And I was like, this is great. So. And I was like, I'm not kidding. I literally went to the bathroom 5 minutes ago and I was like, fuck, people are going to literally look at this and be like, who is Paige Pullman?
But here, like...
I keep picking up this one up and there's been nothing in it for an hour.
Who cares? Like...
I don't care anymore. And if like if you watch this and you're literally like...
Fuck her, I'm going to unfriend her.
What? Paige looks weird from this side because I fucking hate my side power. Like, fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I don't care.
It's not about vanity. It's not about anything.
No,
it's
like
not about...
it used to be for me a lot. Like everything was about
That's
validation and like how I perceived myself and if people liked me and if I was fitting into these groups. And like I said, like I would match somebody's vibe. Like I would like they would come out and I'd be like, I was so aware of how they were as a person and I would literally just match it immediately. And it was like, that wasn't me. Like I was literally like as if I was taking my eyes and fucking putting a fucking vortex around them and being like, this is your mood for the night. Like, because that's how they are.
So I'm excited. We'll start a company. We don't know what it is yet.
We're starting a company. I really want to start a company.
The mission statement is going to be a little different. It's going to be...
Perception.
It's going to be like create a passive outcome for like the employees and stuff like that. But
because I think that's so big. That's what leads to success.
And then take that passive income and do good with it. Like don't
donate
don't squander it. Like like learn about it and don't like fucking gamble it or don't like do something dickhead with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and that's literally like all like I don't know if you were subscribed to my newsletter.
No.
No.
I told you I watched one episode because I got nervous.
No, I used to have a newsletter that like I ran for like a couple of, like a summer.
Really?
Yeah, and
I'm not real. I sound like my friend.
it was an email. It was on email.
Oh, okay.
So it was like each section was like brain games. No, I'm right.
Okay.
Each section was like
not on a podcast. I'd be stupid.
You want little evidence?
My perception is now blurred.
We had brain gains, wild gains, and fitness gains, and then like each like we would just literally like read a book, and then it was just me. I was making a thing, and then I had people like write in like guest appear write, and then below we had like little sections like it was called the Hot Guy Season Newsletter.
Wait, I definitely heard about this.
Really?
I definitely yes.
And yeah, so we had that, but
no, but I'm saying
it was like a community of 50 people.
But like, I know enough people where like I wouldn't mind putting myself on blast and just being like, this is what I'm starting, and like I need to grasp the concept of like what I really want to start.
Right.
And like the logistics of it.
But
not every little detail.
Just start it. That's the biggest thing. It's like
you just got to do it.
I've been thinking about doing this podcast for probably a year, 2 years.
You just have to do it.
And then
I've always wanted to do a podcast.
And then I was like,
that's why I was like, oh my god, this is fucking perfect.
Yeah. And then I was like,
I didn't think I was gonna go this route, but
I love like learning about people. Like I like actually, and I love learning things from people. And this is such like a visceral like way to do it. So it's like. It makes sense now that I started it. But before that, I was like, I could never do it. I don't have like the
confidence or like not even the confidence, but like
I was afraid of what people were gonna think.
Yeah, but see, that's a thing.
And I was like, oh wait, why do I care? Don't.
What do they? What is their viewpoint on it?
And
gonna contribute to your life.
And if someone like ever says to me like what like, if someone ever says to me like how could you think that, or someone ever says to me like, I don't agree with you. Here's this, and this. I'm like, fuck you. Like
But also,
I literally
like,
just go like
my
fuck
thing is
you.
like if anybody like were to watch this right now or something, and they were like, why? Like that's so random. Like why did you do that with Rich? And like what? Like you talked about like the most insane things. It'd be like, okay, like that's your perspective.
No, it's insecurity. They're projecting their insecurities.
Projection is the biggest thing in our generation.
Yeah.
The biggest thing. I know, and for the longest
I always
time,
tell people they're projecting.
For the longest time, though, I thought about it, and I was like, do I call, like, I'm so aware when people do it, but I'm like, do I call people out when they do it? And I'm like, it's not that I want to, because I feel like you learn so much more when you finally realize you're doing it. Because I did it. Mm-hmm. I definitely did it.
Yeah.
For sure. And, like, I was very big on, like, posting my life on, like, social media.
People hate when you don't project.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't work for them.
Okay, so one of my coworkers too, we were really close and stuff. God, I hope he doesn't see this.
No, that's a projection. Insecurity.
But like he left the company and stuff, and like, but he always project it. Like he always project it, and like, or he would call me out on like doing certain things and stuff, and I feel like he would do it too, but I feel like when you know you're doing something and you're aware of it, and then you see somebody else do it, it's so easy to call them out on it, but like so much harder to like fix it yourself.
You also have to be aware of like in the workplace, toxic like masculinity is like 100% a thing.
100% a thing, and I don't have an HR department.
And then also toxic femininity is also a thing.
We don't have that at my workplace, but I know it's a thing.
Yeah. So it's like, if you're in the workplace, if there's an obvious toxic like femininity, masculinity, that's conditioned through generations of like workplace like masculinity, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain.
No, I know what you're talking
about. That's bred into the system.
Yeah.
And then toxic femininity is now a thing, and women are basically figuring out how to use it, and sometimes it goes bad, sometimes it goes good, but for men, it's always went good for them.
Yeah.
So when it doesn't go good, women can understand it.
Yeah. No, and I completely agree with that, and I think that that's a very valid statement. People don't realize that though sometimes. I think that goes back to my point where I just think that people are so lazy and just oblivious to so many aspects of life. Mm-hmm. And until you tap it, I feel like everybody has the potential to tap into I guess for lack of a better term, a higher power, I guess, and you can make life what you want it to be.
Yeah.
And until you realize that, it's exactly until you realize that, and trust me, I have so many things that I need to do to be where I want to be and stuff, but I'm 24. A lot of people don't realize that until they're a lot older. A lot of people realize it younger. But until you actually tap into that potential, you're oblivious to the world. Mm-hmm. I think. Mm-hmm. And I think that also goes back to the whole energy factor. Everything about life is about energy.
What's the most absurd goal that you have?
Absurd?
Absurd, but highest. Mine's I want to run a marathon, which is not that absurd.
It's not absurd, but
it's an example.
Actually, that I wrote that down as my goal before. I wrote that in my.
And then my treating myself to doing a marathon, I want to swim with great whites. So that's my
that's cool.
That'd be my present.
Have you wrote it down?
Yeah.
I was gonna say I think that I'm big with writing things down like that. Yeah. Same. I also have a huge journal about all that, and I write in it every day.
Vision board.
Again, no one would ever know that.
Low key vision board. This right here, you guys are a vision board.
Boom.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna watch this and be like, who the fuck is Paige Pullman? Because she writes in a journal every day? What? I thought she was drunk every day. No.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so to wrap it up.
Yeah, where are we going?
To wrap it up, we're starting a passive income sort of business. Probably, invest. Probably real estate. Invest. What's
that from?
That's real estate. We'll do a real estate. We'll see.
We'll dabble.
We'll workshop it.
Dabble.
We'll first off start with a community network group.
Yeah.
And then we'll get discussions going like that.
Boom.
Are you in a network group?
No.
Really? So yeah, we'll do that.
I could easily.
It's very beneficial to having a good network.
Do you know who I still talk to? Actually, side note, my boss from Career Service Center. She texts me once every 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
And she has a ginormous network. Every time something pops up, she's like, I just want to reach out to you and let you know this is what's happening. Really? Yeah. I'm I don't want to be in Philadelphia, Nikki, but it's great to know.
So yeah, we'll wrap it up with that. Perspective is key.
Boom. Wow.
Self-help is key.
You know what's crazy?
Conspiracies are key.
We didn't go too deep into conspiracies, but that could be another time.
Yeah.
Because
there hasn't been anything really in the news that I haven't covered yet.
We brought up Epstein.
Yeah. Go watch that. Go watch the Netflix documentary. Doesn't really they don't say names. They don't name names. It
scratches the surface. Do your research.
They don't name names.
Watch.
Pisses me off.
Research Biden. Actually, what else were we talking about? That was
so really much good. Self-help, mental issues, guys. Just
do your research.
I'm on 26 books into the study of money.
Are you?
Yeah, I just read One Up on Wall Street by Peter Lynch, and and that was very good. This
is the world.
Yes. Travel the world, and basically, guys, read books outside and get off social media.
Yeah, outside. Put your phone down. Put it in your house. Go for a walk. Yeah. Read a book.
Buy a dog.
Buy a dog. Dude, that's exactly what I want to do.
All right, guys. Love you guys. Peace.
Bye.